There we go. There we go. Where is this? Am I fucked up? Oh, this is all a mess. Hey, Catastros, what and welcome. Hello, hello. Come on in, come on in. Let me add you to the board. Okay, everything is very strange right now. I'm trying to work out what the ruddy hell is going on. Oh wait, so Future Games Show isn't part of the block. What the fuck is going on here? I might have to just rename the stream. Anyway, Catastros, how are you doing? Tell me your tales, friend. I mean, I guess saw you yesterday through Varying Chaos. Worst case, fuck all this nonsense, and we'll just build Gundams. Lizzie, what and welcome. Well, actually, so today's Cavalcade of Adventures started at like 8 AM, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Well, Catastros, that sounds fucking fun. Right, having a crack at another Skyrim run has definitely been scratching around in my noggin. I guess I'm quietly hoping that the plan with Starfield is to add to it till it hits that point. But I've definitely had the... I definitely had the itch to return, you know. I guess it's from that whole post-Fallout thing we all went through, and then I kind of poked at some other stuff. Apparently the Summer Games Showcase has just started this very second. Do you want to go check it out? I don't know who this guy is. I don't know what's happening. God, this is a fucking shit show today. Apparently? Unholy Glee, sorry. I am doing as well as anyone can. And currently just trying to work out what in the ruddy hell is going on. So basically, I don't know if this, if the Future Games Showcase is actually officially part of the Summer Games Fest block, in which case, I don't actually have technical permission to restream it, which makes for an interesting setup. And yeah, well, it started 20 minutes early, so it's already going.
Okay.
So I don't want to be like, should we dive in? What should I? I wasn't ready for this like an hour ago, let alone. So the Women in Games Showcase was the official Summer Games Fest thing, and the thing that's going now isn't, but might be, but sort of, but ran before. They started early, so there was overlap. So I was sitting there waiting for this to start, and it fucking hasn't. Well, they jumped ahead of me. So, what we could do is just fecking ignore all of it, and you know what? Let's dive on in. Worst case scenario. Worst case scenario. It is not good. And then we'll build some Gundams and talk about it and go from there. How does that sound? Does that sound vaguely like I know what the hell I'm doing? Oh, hang on. Not even unmuted it.
A very honored to introduce
they're showing off, what is it? Not too human. Full human. Very human.
Overworld survival game will take out the role as a meta, striving to survive in a world corrupted.
Oh no, Unholy Glee, I'm sorry you've been doing battle with insomnia, friend. That's always the feckin' worst. Well, I'm usually on that side of the fence. Right now, I've been going so fucking hard. I've just been, like, crashing surprisingly early and then just unfurling.
And I will tell you what makes Once Human so unique.
Once Human, that was it. Okay, this guy is definitely on the media speak train, so I don't feel bad talking over him. And this is the trailer we watched yesterday, so you've literally seen all of this. But yeah, so from this morning, there was the Wholesome Games Direct, which had a couple of really good, interesting titles we hadn't seen. That was followed up by the, what was it officially called? The Latin Games Showcase. And that had some bangers in. Unfortunately, I got into that late. And then it was the women-led games, which, again, the title on that one changed. And there were some really good titles in there. Obviously, it's not a showcase for somebody like me to critique. I think I immediately regret planning our day around this.
In Once Human, the enemies that you ever encountered might be something that you never seen before. Animal. A new species
sorry, the reason I say that is that what we're looking at right now is what used to be like the old school dev diaries. Heavily scripted, heavily edited, heavily curated. Like marketing assets meant to make it look like it's even better and cooler than it could possibly be. As opposed to like open development where you actually talk to the devs. It's kind of weird that, like with last year, it seems like day one is always the banger. And then after that, there does seem to be like an ever-decreasing drop. There's the Xbox Showcase, which can be a banger, but... God, this is a bad asset. Hey, at least we tuned in at exactly the time to learn how not to do something. But also, bumblebees. And a dinosaur. Nutcracker security. That's a term. Stepgen, Watto, and welcome. Clank. Hello, hello. Come on in, friends.
Watch out for ambushes and looting. Remember to forge alliance with others to build settlements.
The Future Games show started a little early, so we're a little behind. And I was a little bit, like, discombobulated by that. This is a dogshit asset, and I'm sorry that this is what you're coming in on, so I'm just going to talk over this guy. But the game looks good.
These include PvE world bosses and PvP content that encourages you to pillage and plunder.
And numbers, Watto, and welcome. Red Burning Dragon, look. Cooking Dino was the best thing they could have added.
The creativity of Once Human doesn't stop there. You can unleash your imagination.
Was watching the 10 hours VOD, but I did not manage to finish it.
It's Debagen. I was in the 10-hour VOD, and I'm not sure I finished it. I will say the Sea of Thieves after party was definitely needed.
For PC is coming away on the 9th of July 2024. So don't forget to...
but no, Debagen, thank you for the bits. Come on in, friends, come on in.
We'll kick off the final round of open beta of D. Don't miss out the exclusive cosmetics on the first day. $3 are now...
Reactor online, sensors online, weapons online, all systems nominal.
Hey, Ishka, how you doing?
What ho?
Thank you for the full 8 months. I hope you're doing splendid. Oh, and Red Burning Dragon says the little bit we saw earlier with the car and a truck. That was a glitch that players found. Yeah, so Chonrus, I caught up on Wholesome Direct, and I started watching the Lightning Games and the Women's Showcase while I was getting, like, you know, caffeinated and dogs out and stuff like that. Honestly, friends, I think what this is going to be is a more sober critique of what we've gotten so far. And then after this, we're going to play Put Together a Gundam with Will, because I know I said I had an indie game. The one I had for you was Terry's Turbo Truck or what have you. But honestly, I just want to hang out. I want to make something. So...
that opens a panel for me above the door.
Okay, what does it say, please?
We'll figure it out.
I remember when Fiona and I did one of these kind of trailers, and people said that we were paid Hollywood actors.
Don't mind if I get this wrong.
And Sean, what welcome. How you doing, friend?
I'll remember that.
Yeah.
I will hit that.
Oh, it moved. Oh, very nice.
Wish you'd
Yeah, no, Chonrus, a good spot. Chonrus was saying they're real happy about the number of teams that are using like the retro Game Boy Color style. Yeah, because emulating that style lets you do a ton of... lets you make a ton of game without breaking your back.
In Sync is coming soon, so stick it on your wish lists. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Britt, but it looks like we're going back to back with world premieres.
So Judica, this is actually the last of the showcases available on the block today. And I'm kind of adjusting sound volumes as needed.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
God, it's painful. But we'll be talking about the stuff from today, and trust me, the stream being barely audible is me doing you a fucking favour. As I said, they started early on this one, and when we tuned in, it was an asset about Once Human, and possibly one of the most obnoxious Dev Diary style videos I've had to listen to in a long time. Ishgar, I would usually agree with you, but it's just gone noon and I'd fucking die. Yeah, well, Red Burning Dragon, that is fascinating. Though I will say I would not get your hopes up for Once Human. Thematically and like visual design wise, it looks awesome. But in terms of like how I feel that title's going to shape out, I would be very worried. Hey Judica, if you want to do a little craft along, it's more than welcome. This might be Dredge too, because this is too much for oh, Dredge the Iron Rig. Okay, no, it is DLC. It's worth noting, Dredge has a bunch of DLC that won't be available forever, but is free. I think Dave the Dive is similar.
Dive back into one of last year's most beloved indie games.
I went to a weird wedding where I was both the master of ceremonies and the usher. I had trouble walking down the stairs as they announced, "Welcome to the stage, MC Usher."
Selection of games that have appeared in our shows over the years.
So, if you like what you see, head to the...
That one might have gone over my head, but thank you for the 500 bits, and I hope you're having a great weekend.
And Humble's chosen charities.
Back to the trailers now. In this next section, we're spotlighting 7 games to keep on your radar.
Oh, and Theodora, lovely to see you.
Friends with the help of roguelike upgrades in this fast-paced, genre-blending online shooter. Diabotical Rogue lets you pick between 3 specializations to cause carnage on the battlefield in hectic 4v4 matchups. It launched in early access on Steam and Epic Games on June 4th, 2024. So, yep, you can play it right now. What turns a person into a narcotics dealer? A dealer into a cartel boss? Find out in DDS2. An action-packed sim where you climb the criminal ladder
You know what?
and fight off the
I'm glad we're watching this, because a lot of this is a cautionary tale. Like, I think we could deconstruct this press conference in a what not to do.
Co-op with up to 3 players. DDS2 is coming to PC on June 20th, 2024. Keep your eyes on this one, says local thunk, developer. That's right.
What ho from the new PC?
And Martin, what ho and welcome. Congrats on the new PC. How goes it?
Players can customize their digital decks to take out.
It's interesting. Like, okay, so this one I feel was disingenuous because it started with the "keep your eye on this one," says the creator of Balatro. It's not. There's not any relation. That's just like a little like back of the box quote.
Step into the shoes of a plucky airship pilot in Clockwork Ambrosia, a steampunk Metroidvania.
And I do think these kind of like little summary voiceover bits, while they work really well for television, trash tier for live streams.
Curious companions and taking down leagues of automatons. Check out the Clockwork Ambrosia demo on Steam today. Turn foes into friends and search for your lost soulmate in Sword of the Necromancer Resurrection, a 3D remake of the
And kind of what and welcome. You know what, again, I'm just going to talk on over these numpties. If we see anything interesting, it'll be in the Summer Showcase Steam page. Okie dokie.
Fight past death and twist fate when Sword of the Necromancer Resurrection drops on PC and console this year.
Oh yes, so Beadoro, yeah, we were talking about that yesterday. Cozy Cove is being paid for and published by Netflix. But what's fascinating about it is it's going to be a mobile title, but not with a mobile business model, which I think is brilliant, because like, there's nothing inherently wrong with a phone as a platform for playing games. The thing that sucks about it is that the business model doesn't work. In the sense of, like, you can't just make a game and say, hey, give me $4 for it, and it'll be successful. Because users just don't spend the money. Like, Apple doesn't want that to be the case. Like, Google doesn't want that to be the case. They want you paying for lots and lots and lots of little microtransactions, because they get a cut of every payment. And because, especially Apple is a closed platform, they decide what gets promoted. So yeah.
3 hits and you're out.
Yeah, Angelos, fucking brain sync right there.
A slapstick boss rush adventure inspired by the
Actually, Kimball, I haven't seen that title. If you want to throw it into arcade, you know, as I said, I've been away for a good while. Plus, it's been this cavalcade of chaos, so.
Upgrading your skills to succeed. Big boy boxing is coming soon, so make sure it's on your wish lists.
Also, I'm curious as to how much they had to pay to be part of the Future Game Show block, because a lot of these are existing titles that we knew about.
Search for Future Game Show on Steam, and you can start digging into the demos and fleshing out your wish lists.
Special delivery! Our friends at Billy Goat Entertainment have sent us a new trailer for Parcel Core, the studio's extreme sports courier simulator. Let's take a look.
Hello, judicious viewer. Billy Good Entertainment. We're strong believers in the old adage, art from adversity, which is why we've decided, completely of our own volition and certainly not under any form of duress,
Authenticity. Sorry, I was jumping back because like, Angelos was asking why is the person talking so monotone, and Judica was saying, well, I'd rather have that than the welcome to games. And the thing is, it comes down to authenticity. You as a person can feel it when someone's trying to sell you something hard, when someone's trying to pretend. Like, naming no names, but one of the hosts so far of this event. That's brilliant.
September 3rd, 2024.
One of the other hosts was so inauthentic. It was killing me. I'm so glad I wasn't streaming that with you all.
Parcel Core will be coming to PC, PlayStation, and Xbox on September 3rd, 2024. You can also check out the demo, which just went live on Steam.
Our next game is a mind-blowing.
Okay, we saw this one yesterday, so no need to crank it up. But again, authenticity is what people are looking for. I personally am usually against the idea of like the streamer or two streamers playing through a thing for an asset. And I know the irony of being someone that does that and has been paid to do that. But again, unless the people you've got are genuine, it's so hard. Oh, and if you didn't see yesterday's streams, So this game is fucking fascinating because it is a 2D game. So everything you see in the world in the 3D section is extrapolated from the 2D levels. That is to say, it is not a 3D game with a 2D component. It is a 2D game with a 3D visualizer. Now, I would not stream this because I think this would give us all fucking mad motion sickness, but fucking cool. Alleged. What and welcome. Hello, hello. But yeah. I mean, I'm not saying the Future Game Show is a failure. We're here watching it, which means it's succeeding at one of its things. But this is a good cautionary tale of things not to do. Hell, like, the Latin Games Collective was really good. What I saw of Wholesome Collective this morning was real fun. But, like...
It's a steal! Yeah. Switching gears now, as we've got a trailer to share from our friends at Netflix. Here's a look at some of the new games coming to the platform later this year.
Okay. Dungeons and Degenerate Gamblers. There we go. Thank you, Kindball. I think this is the stinger we saw earlier on, though. I think we saw this whole ass stinger yesterday.
We are having fun.
And I will say, even though it only got the tiniest sliver, the Tales of the Shire is the Hobbit cozy game that I'm all for. Oh, and Angelo, if it makes you feel any better, same. I was on the wish list. I was on the wait list for the early play date, and then real life was like, "Huh, it's real cute. You think you can spend money?" It is interesting to see how Netflix are making their push into gaming. Now the question is, like, can they make it make sense? You know, like right now, I love what they're doing, but fiscally.
Thank you to Netflix for sending over that trailer.
Which they already sent to the Summer Game Show yesterday, just FYI.
This game lets you exploit a gang of unruly mercenaries for your own selfish gain.
Oh. And Sean, you know what? I know what you mean. Like that Game Boy inside a 3D game. I love it from a technical standpoint, but I'm trying to think, like, is that going to make me sick? Am I going to want to play it? But hey, I mean, we're intrigued. We're talking about it.
Explore the wilds and found epic loot. I can kick any monster's ass, even the nastiest nightmares. I rip them apart.
God, friends, I'm so sorry. I feel like I've brought you into the bargain basement bin of showcases of showcases.
Oh, cut the crap! You're no hero. Obviously, they did all the fighting. You fighting to gain XP? Who needs XP when you're famous? Happy bastards!
Let the fools do your dirty work in Happy Bastards.
So Judica, I don't know anybody in the mobile space that has does genuine dives.
Souls-like from Project Cloud Games.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to think. Okay, that is not 1080p, alright. No, so, Judica, like, over the years I've looked into it, and unfortunately I've not come across anything. So, I'm sure there is something around, but... So Fred, what you need to do is, combine jet lag with an unending, unsustainable combination of life and work. so that you can't physically stay awake beyond about like midnight, to the extent of forgetting to feed yourself, and then waking up at sensible hours. That's how you do it. The Relic First Guardian. Not a good cut for trailer, but I'm not.
What have you got for us all the way over there, Roger?
I don't hate it.
It's a nice problem to have, but we simply have too many games to show you. So we're going to throw it out to a series of back-to-back trailers and check in with you guys in a little bit.
Alright, we'll crank this up.
Shall we go grab a drink?
That would not be disagreeable. I hear you make a really good Cosmo Canyon.
Oh, I'd love to whip one up for you.
Yes, please.
I'm dying. Alright, let's see what we got. Being a Judica, I have been unable to find like a good source of like looking into Mabage. And especially after playing... What the fuck? 10 hells, 100 levels. You are a middle manager in hell. Fuck, see, alright, this is good. Trailer, clear. Concept, clear. Gameplay, let's sign me up. God, Neon White meets Stanley Parable, let's fucking go. What was this one? Hell is an Office. It's not on their fucking showcase list. Love that. You're killing me here. I think I've seen this one doing the rounds. Okay, none of these are on their title. Sorry, none of these are on their official page. No, I can search Hell is an Office, Hell of an Office, but it's just
Peggy 12.
Look at all these titles, and some of these have already genuinely intrigued me. So I go over to the Future Games Summer Showcase, they're not on there. So what's... It's OTK again. Oh, well, Hell of an Office came out like a month ago in early access. God darn it. Anyway. Also, Unholy Glee, you know what it is? This isn't the announcements. This is just trailer time they've sold. This is just quick, rapid-fire marketing spend. Oh, shit! Oh, that's cool. Sorry, for those of us who didn't play, like, you know, Deliver Us the Moon and Deliver Us Mars, that is the third part in the trilogy.
So he thought everyone was screaming about him, going, Lily!
Okay.
Oh, welcome back.
Hi, did you enjoy those trailers? Good.
There was 3 of them!
Or where that came from.
Let's get back into it with a new trailer for The Precinct.
Alright. Turn these dingleberries down again. Okay. But yeah, there's a bunch of things that we can learn from this, and so I don't. I changed my mind. I don't regret watching this with you all.
Stick to your beat, and maybe, just maybe, you'll get to retirement in one piece like me.
Also,
you stop there.
10-4, aerial unit inbound. Central, be advised, suspect missed the spikes. Central to all units, bank robbery.
Choice is being done by Games Radar Plus. Okay. Very odd. It does feel like out of all the things I've seen this morning, even though one of them was just hosted by somebody in their bedroom, this feels like the least baked of the press conferences of today. Or I should say the showcases. Shouldn't be called press conferences anymore.
August 15th, 2024.
If you like to try before you buy, then good news. Every game in this next section has a demo attached that you can play after the show.
Days are coming! Any of you dimwits still breathing?
Okay. Anyway, so whilst we're struggling through this, how are you all doing?
He'll feel that in his gang
Oh, yes. This is like... Oh.
First up is Motor Dew, a gnarly BMX roguelike that blends
You're killing me here!
Skater with vampire survivors.
Next up is
No,
a
Sean,
era,
I wholeheartedly agree with you.
game where you dodge traps and bump slash enemies to save an ancient world.
Sorry, Sean was saying it's crazy how many devs they follow. They're super excited about their games, but shows like this really kind of make you barely interested. This is sapping a lot of enthusiasm, and there's some titles in here that I see that are really interesting.
Where you wield wobbly pipes to manage the galaxy's most chaotic gas station.
And the thing is, like, the speed at which they're banging out these tiny trailers makes it so hard to find them, and they're not on the Steam page. So what was that last one? Was like 10 something?
Next in line is Guntouchables, a co-op roguelite where teams of preppers repel an evolving mutant invasion.
I'm going out of my bloody mind here.
Wild Bastards, a rootin' tootin' roguelike shooter where you manage a crew of intergalactic outlaws.
Okay, that was a terrible way. So Wild Bastards is the sequel to Void Bastards. The brilliant, what if Dave Lister had a shotgun sci-fi roguelike that we played a couple years back.
Head to the Future Games Show Steam page to find all those demos and everything else featured in today's show.
And Square Peg, what and welcome.
Goes by the name of Eugene McQuacklin. They're a private eye, following the breadcrumbs of a foul salami scheme.
Duck detective, please.
Oh no, sorry. Just Angelos was saying that
the truth.
Seeing the smaller games does motivate them.
Is an ugly mistress, but I ain't no ugly duckling.
I mean, Duck Detective's already out. This game is brilliant, and it has a dedicated quack button.
And we're from Happy Broccoli Games.
Right now, we're working on Duck Detective: The Secret Salami, where solving crime is no walk in the pond. You are a down-on-his-luck detective who also happens to be a duck.
I was a freshly divorced duck, not able to pay next month's rent.
Use your powers of deduction to inspect evidence, fill in the blanks, and bust the case wide open. In a narrative mystery adventure that's not quite as it seems.
Sorry, apologies for looking back and forth. I'm trying to find whatever that previous game was. It was like 10 something something.
Duck Detective is a 2 to 3 hour long mystery game that's inspired by games like Return of the Obra Dinn and Case of the Golden Idol. The game is fully voiced and
Steam's not giving me
it
anything.
has a dedicated quack button.
Yeah, you're literally a detective hired by an office to find out who keeps stealing the sandwiches, and it's got a really clever detective, like a detection system, kind of like an evolution on Case of the Golden Idol's whole like fitting the puzzle together, which I guess is in itself a tweak of like the Obra Dinn style.
I'm a different duck now. I haven't had a slice of bread in weeks. Duck Detective: The Secret Salami.
Duck Detective: The Secret Salami is out now on PC and Nintendo Switch.
Deduction system. Fuck! Fred, that's so much better than what I said.
This trailer is for the RPG fans out there. Sacrifice is inspired by the 90s classics and features a soundtrack composed by Motoi Sakuraba.
Oh yeah, no, and like the voice act, the VO cast is incredible. Like Duck Detective is smart development, great fun, and so cleverly put together. You know, because like as Angelos was saying, they saved money on the animation style by going for like the not paper doll, kind of. I don't know if there's a better term for it, but it reminds me of like, you know, sticking an image to a lolly stick and doing that as like a little wiggle anim. It works, and it's so charming. And you don't have to do shit tons of animations per character, meaning you can spend more time on your illustrations.
Statues coming to life. Am I dreaming?
Well, so Sean, the reason I didn't want to use paper doll is because that one's predominantly when you have like it's usually for flat images, and it's lots of tiny static pieces that you animate separately. So things like Salt and Sacrifice, that's what I would call paper doll animation. I'm not saying I'm using the term necessarily correctly. It's more just, that's just to keep it clear in my noggin. I feel that last game will be somebody's first good RPG. Do you know what I mean?
Sacrifier is coming soon. But the playtest just
Why does he sound like Strongbad?
Sacrifier
is coming soon. It's totally an RPG to hang out with my guys.
Add another game to our yearbook, right, Britt?
I think that's a good idea. You know what? More than a decade later, we're finally getting a sequel to Warhammer 40k Space Marine. Space Marine 2 is landing in September, and here's everything you need to know about it.
God. It feels like I'm having two LA people that are about to sell me NFTs.
Will survive our wrath.
Bonk! He has the hammer! The Warhammer! 40,000!
Wants to watch yearbook with gallons of Xeno's blood.
Ma'am, why are you even talking right now?
Follow-up to Relic Entertainment's 2011.
Oh, okay, sorry. That sounded very, very dismissive, and I do apologise. What I meant was, this is an interrupted version of the trailer we saw yesterday, and we're getting kind of an over-explanation for a trailer that already explains itself. Maybe I should explain the last explaining the game, the video that explains itself. Let's go meta.
Get into assault position by the bridge.
Yeah, so Martin, you're right, that's no need feature. This is from the initial gameplay announcement. The previous one was from the Skulls event multiplayer announcement. All of this kind of cut together.
Space Marine, the Emperor's personal angel of death, a stoic ultramarine with a penchant.
Hamster's like, I don't know if I trust anybody who voluntarily chooses to play Space Marines in 40k. What are you talking about? Are you telling me you've never wanted to embrace the
scourge threatening mankind?
Fuck it, I got nothing.
Will transport players to the front lines of the Fourth Tyrannic War with hundreds of creatures.
I got nothing. Space Marine. That's it. I was gonna make a joke about how like Space Marines are these inhuman abominations that make people uncomfortable.
Quite likely much larger foes. You'll be overwhelmed in short order if you and your team don't keep your wits about you. The grisly combat blends over the shoulder shooting with a deep melee brawling system.
Again, I'm sorry to snark, it's just
dodge, pull off brutal combos, and execute your enemies to top up.
The commentary we're getting is very, very 2000s video game TV show, and it's a nothing sandwich. You and your team will have to keep your wits about you. Why? What does that have to do with you?
It's a metal maelstrom of chaotic conflict, and we're excited to see what Titus and the gang will face up against when the game launches later this year.
Titus and the gang is my my hip hop group.
PlayStation, Xbox, and PC on the 9th of September, so there's still plenty of time to scrub up on the wealth of 40k lore before you suit up and ship out on this gnarly Warhammer adventure.
Yeah, it's given G4, it's given Jinx TV. But again, Space Marine is going to be dumb fun.
Warhammer 40k.
Like, what does that need to do? You need to be a big walking fridge, and you need to fight not xenomorphs. Jobs are good. Sean says it's PlayStation demo disc. Oh.
Okay, but I have to admit this is a bit of a wild one. I think it needs a Wrangler's touch. Just give me a second.
Honestly, friends, I might...
Easy now. You're all right.
I might offer to lend them, like, either Pun Spectre or Moose or Dustin for some good wordplay. I think this man is having sex with a goat.
Just 1 second.
I think that man just had sex with a goat.
Peggy 12.
I think I might start drinking early. What I was going to say is his goat-based wordplay was very poor. And I'm like, I've heard better than that from the hungover, like, Longshipian... Alright, Capybara Galactus gets my point. I was about to be very snarky, and I'm like, gigantic capybara that rules the universe? Alright, cool. Okay, I'm back. You lost me. You lost me and I'm back.
Go toe-to-toe with Capybara Thanos in Multiverse of Nonsense. A brand new DLC pack for Goat Simulator 3.
Sir, that's Capybara Galactus. Capybara Thanos would be purple, not blue. Glad one of us is paying attention.
If you're enjoying the show, you can let us know.
Head to the link on screen now and fill in the survey to be in with the chance of winning some great prizes courtesy of MSI.
All right, time for something completely different. This year, the Future Games Show is launching a new initiative to help increase the visibility of upcoming indie games.
We've created a video submission form so that game makers from around the world can pitch their projects to the show in a snappy 45-second format. A link to the form should be on the screen now.
Think of it as an indie elevator pitch.
They should have just paid us. We could have done this better. You, me, Atticus, guinea pigs. We would have done this better.
To give you an idea of what we're looking for, the FGS team handpicked some of the most anticipated indie games and asked the developers
Sorry to leave you.
elevator pitches.
Sorry to leave you alone with these two LA-shaped cutouts. I'm just getting a Red Bull. I feel bad for the...
My name is Ewout. I'm one of the developers of the game, and
I feel bad for the games that have been kind of like lumped in here. It feels sad. Now, I feel we've been waiting for this title for a while, but I'm happy that it's coming.
You jump from shadow to shadow. You play as a little shadow creature.
They basically have made a game of that thing you do as a kid when you're like in long car journeys. And I love that.
Along the way, you will also help other Schim that have lost their objects.
Yeah, Beodora, like, it makes the keelness of other stuff, like, a lot easier to deal with. And, for as much as I will shit-talk Jeff Keighley to his face, it is a very good point that for all his...
The creator of the upcoming stealth comedy game, World's Worst Handyman.
For all that Keighley is, he is a presenter. He's a mercenary, but he's a presenter. And when you see it being done poorly, it's a very, very good example of, like, being a host is a very different skill set, right?
Of Nintendo games. It's a thrilling stealth comedy game.
You know, over the years we've seen many, many disasters, including peeps like Mr. Caffeine and stuff like that.
From bankruptcy. Find tools, complete tasks, avoid angry residents, and earn enough money to save the shelter. World's Worst.
Honestly, like, the difference between, like, Ubisoft is a really good thing to study if you want to see... Oh, sorry, World's Worst Handyman.
Is a stop-motion action-adventure game set in a mystical, historic Scotland.
Scotland!
A passionate two-man team making a truly independent game without compromise. In Judeo,
Scotland!
A world full of eccentric
11!
and handcrafted NPCs.
Sorry.
You
This looks
overcome challenges with Judero's
so
combat
ridiculous.
Our favourite part is perhaps the varied and sometimes grotesque bosses the game is replete with. Judero is coming out this autumn on Steam. Please wishlist and help spread the word.
Yeah, apparently, like, the Scottish dev scene is, like, really good right now, and I'm happy to see it.
Show, those guys over there are Heavy Lunch Studio.
Okay, and comparative to that the presenters, look at this. This is genuine. This is legit.
It's an adventure RPG about a reclusive old man and his truffle hunting pig.
Also, can we please shout out again how Day of the Devs just fucking nails it?
Corporations, unusually violent animals, hungry townspeople, cultist weirdos, and a giant mythical mushroom. You'll have to dig deep and ask yourself important questions like, can I master the self-defense techniques necessary to survive? Can I overcome my social anxiety to become a hero? And should I really eat every mushroom I find? You can find these answers and more in Hermit and Pig. The demo is available on Steam now.
Oh, so I have a theory. Some of the games are in one. Some of the games feature. Some of the games are featured in more than one showcase, but they're only listed on one showcase page. So Hermit and Pig is on the Future of Play Direct, not the Future Games Showcase.
Who wants to participate in the indie elevator pitch? You can find out more using the link on screen right now. Show us what you got.
Back to our regular programming now. which in this case means another world premiere. This one's a stealth strategy adventure game set in an oppressive
Drink! Yeah, C222, you're right. It's got real People's Front of Judea vibes going on.
About the war on the continent.
And Stammering Gamer, you're not wrong.
But you are my people, and you will come to no harm.
There's no any trouble. We just want to talk to him.
You told me you wanted out. You and your brother. You said you're done with this.
Do-de-do, apples and peas! Oh, my scrappy little urchin, it landed!
Because I thought you respected me and my business and everything I've done for you. This isn't about me. Oh, it's always about you.
God, the
Anna, and now
facial
you're
mapping is really odd. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's got this, like...
Look, I've no idea what he's done. I don't care. I've just got to find him before they do.
I think this is going to slap, but you all saw what I saw, right? Like, they went for realistic facial mapping, but the game's got, like, a just offset of the center surrealism. It's not uncanny because it's... The character models are designed almost like little miniatures on a board, but the face is like facial capture. Weird. Like, is it uncanny or is it intentional? J-Post, this press conference, this showcase sucks. But the games are great.
What's next, Roger?
Well, here's a closer look at Run From Mummies, a cooperative dungeon crawler where you play a group of plucky tourists dodging traps to photograph ancient relics.
So, you heard about the tour?
Oh, 10 dead doves. Yeah, Chornos is right. They've updated the Future Game Show page as it's happening. They're just not on top of it. So, okay.
All set for the tour?
Oh, this does not look good. Also, what name is Run From Mummies? Does no one explain how search engines work? They might as well have called this game fucking Dungeon Mummies Rule 34. Look, search engine optimization is a real thing. Alright? And whether you acknowledge it or not, internet's gonna internet. It's like, there was an electric bike company that called their tentpole product. It was like the something footer. Did no one Google? Well, the thing that Google used to be, yeah. Beatrice's lies. Steam got no search engine optimization. No, but it does have rampant porn games. C222, it's an electric bicycle. So it's a bicycle that has a battery that you can use like an electric scooter. So while you're pedaling, you charge the battery, and then if you're tired, you can just use it.
Run From Mummies is coming to PC and PS5 in fall 2024. And you can play the demo on Steam after the show.
Up next, we've got a Souls-like side-scroller set in a dark fantasy world. Here's the latest update on Mandragora.
Hamster says, "Hey now, those porn games are innocent. They aren't even allowed in this show." You're right. Maybe that's it. We should do like a Steam porn games direct. But do it super deadpan.
Community marketing manager at Primal Game Studio. We're currently working on our most ambitious game to date, Mandragora. Mandragora is a 2.5D action RPG side-scroller with deep Metroidvania and Souls-like elements. We're currently working on fine-tuning the many features that will be available in the game, including epic boss fights and a branching talent tree.
Inquisitor, got supplies for your journey upstairs. You deserve better for what you did to that witch, but it's all we've got to spare.
In the full release, expect to find yourself immersed in a narrative crafted by industry legend
So, Moose,
Brian Mitsoda, known for his work
I
on
wonder if
Batman
we
vs.
could be
Bloodlines,
that,
meet many
but like as
characters
an
who are
industry
voiced by
consultant,
professional
right?
voice actors
Like
like
if you want
Ashley Greene,
to,
known for her work on Overwatch, and
if you want to make a
find yourself
game
whisked away
based
into the world of
on different
Manticore,
cultures
with
that
a
you're
dark
not
fantasy
experienced with,
soundtrack
you can go to
composed by
people
Kristen
like
Sandberg,
Kate
best known
Edwards
for his
and
work
their
as a
company
member of Second
and get like an international consultancy. If you want something with diversity, obviously Sweet Baby Inc. is someone you can go to who will check it.
2024 is
But
going to
is
be a
there
big year
like
for us,
an
as
I'm
we work
accidentally
towards
getting
releasing
deep
later
into the
this year
filth
alongside our
consultant?
new publishing partner, Knight's Peak. We look forward to
Can
bringing
we offer
Manticore
that
to
as a
your PC and
service?
consoles, and really hope you
Because
enjoy it.
Moose was saying every marketing team needs an extremely horny, extremely online sicko in the event that your title or project kind of accidentally lapse into these different spaces.
Is coming to PC and consoles.
Mandragora!
Look at Dustborn now. Red Thread Games Road Trip Adventure. Here's the latest trailer.
Although,
They've got their lights on. They're after us. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit.
Calm down.
Take a deep breath, Sai. Let's pull over. We can handle the police. Pax, maybe put the cargo in a safe place?
there's also already a developer called Mandragora just to make it more complicated.
You know what cops do to people like us.
Sai, please listen to me.
Says the woman who never listens to anyone.
I am very, very excited for this game.
Stop the car.
I think it's going to be good. This scene they have chosen is giving me extreme anxiety. I should not have started.
Wait. Hi. Hello. Hi, officer. What's going on?
I'll need you people to step out of the vehicle.
You're a loser. How badly did you screw up to get here? Highway patrol in the middle of nowhere?
I was doing just fine, Deviant, until you tried to mess with my head. I said, exit the vehicle.
Hey, officer, walk
Not
on the
another
road.
word.
Road.
Jesus, fuck.
Job's done.
Drive, Sai, now.
So this is going to be a kind of Gods on a Road Trip style like narrative game.
That was fucked up.
I wonder if he had time to call us in before. Bam.
I mean, Lizzie, abso-fucking-lutely. But Dustborn we saw announced last year, it's going to be good.
All right, wish lists at the ready, folks, because we've got a
But
sweep of
I do
the
agree with
trailers
Chaunerus in the sense of like, that was not a good snippet. Which is really fucking stressful. Apparently, welcome to the anxiety block. But yeah, so here's the pitch for Dustborn. Ragtag crew, check. Musical gear, check. Tour bus and robot driver, check. Stolen package, check. Embark on a perilous road trip across a divided states of America. Use the power of words to shape relationships with your crew and get out of trouble to reach your final destination. All your little squad all seem to have like varying powers and abilities. And it looks like it's gonna be fucking good. You know, it does have action scenes, it does have a combat system. It's just what we saw there was like their multiple choice cutscene story beat, which, again, I don't think that was a good asset. Oh, thank you, Beadora. Ericum finally has their Steam page up. Oh, sorry, Ericholm. Oh. How do we spell that? Yeah, C222, Dustborn. It's nice to... A purely political free video game. It's gonna be awesome.
And let the illumination of our great leader, William Kane, guide you.
No, no, we have Andrew Ryan at home. Sorry. As an aside to an aside, you remember we were talking about this yesterday, the team that made Road 96. They got yelled at so much by individuals on the internet because of what people perceived was this very, like, critique of American politics. And it's like, the game isn't about the US, and none of the people making that game are based in the US. I think about that one a lot.
Did you notice that rope tied around his neck? No? Never mind.
Honestly, Sean, I think out of all the genres that you could step into, top-down shooter is, like, the worst. Because it is so incredibly hard to differentiate yourself visually in that space. Like, other genres, because of the perspective and thematics and concepts, you can make things that can stand out, but in top-down, unless your art style is either Zero Seven, Hades, or, as you were saying, like, synthetic, you're just gonna get lost in a sea of everything. That Devolver one that came out a couple years back, I think is the last one that really stuck with me.
Numata is a suburban survival horror game from Deadbolt Interactive.
You don't need
it's
to tell
coming
us
to PC and consoles in 2024.
Our next game takes influence from Hotline Miami and fuses Japanese mythology with contemporary hip-hop. Feast your eyes on Sonokuni.
I assume he's a voice actor. Suburban survival horror. So non-fiction then, yep. Like, thematically I'm about this. Something about this is really off. So, okay, so like, Japanese hip-hop Hotline Miami. I should be jumping around. But there's a little part of my brain that's going, what the fuck right now? Like, I try and listen to my little inner voice when it comes to these titles. Something about that is hinky. And I don't know what. I don't know what.
Sonokuni is a top-down action game from the Danyasa crew, a hip-hop group from Japan that decided to make their own indie game. It's coming soon to PC, but for now, you can wishlist it on Steam.
I'll keep an eye on it.
Strands is up next.
It could be, like, it could be,
magic, weapons, and climbing skills to take down enormous monsters. Here's the latest trailer.
So sometimes with trailers like that, what can give you the ick is if every trailer is at like 30 frames and one of them is at like 29.7, it can get weird.
This is it.
Or if it's got what's called a variable frame rate, it can feel a little gross.
Bryn, you need to get out of there now. I was made for this.
But oh, sorry, this looks dope as hell.
Safe zone in the Vale's shadow for decades. No one's been this close in years. My hope is that we're going to find artifacts from the Enclave itself deeper into the shadow.
You can count on me.
I don't think any of you need me to say anything about this. This looks fucking great. Like, I don't know if this is something I necessarily stream for you all, but this is the kind of game I would love to just while away a lovely winter Sunday on, you know? Like, the VFX design is gorgeous.
This place holds mysteries beyond our wildest dreams.
And it's got that really nice, like, it looks like everything's been ever so slightly carved out of stone.
Eternal Strands is coming soon, but if you're eager for more, we'll be airing an interview with the developers during our official post-show, the Future Games Show Expansion Pack.
The expansion pack airs directly after the summer showcase, so stick around for a closer look at today's games and some extra world premieres.
For this next section, the FGS team handpicked some of the most exciting Unreal Engine 5 projects to provide an eye-popping glimpse into the future. Let's check it out.
God. Honestly, I think we should just do Will and the Guinea Pigs Direct next year. Just a showcase of games that I fucking love. I'll show you all some lovely stuff. Don't even worry about it.
What ho, Vikings? What have I missed so far?
Disappointment. Sadness. A guy had sex with a goat. It was weird. I miss E3. This is a beautiful little setup. And, like, some of these aren't necessarily full games. Some of them seem to be just, like, visible examples of what can be done with UE5, and I like this. Kymel says, we're going to showcase when Longship games become a thing. God. Hey, look.
But you love own goat.
They don't call you a lover, but you fuck one goat. Look at that! Where's that game? Also, I love that they're listing the people that have made these environments, and that makes me real happy. This! I want to get to know that turtle! And yeah, no, Lizzie is right. The games in this presentation have been... Was that a Muppet boxing game? I want it. The games in this presentation have been a mixed bag, but some genuinely brilliant, some genuinely terrible. But the presentation of this has been like a 2000s flashback disaster. Oh, he's quality. But yeah, sorry, so Lyris, and obviously Numbers, thank you for the bits. Yeah, Angelos, you're right. I think most of those were like Unreal experiments, but fuck yeah.
Thank you to the developers who participated in our Unreal Engine 5 showcase. Be sure to follow them on social media to keep up with these projects as they evolve.
Now, as we all know, the only good bug is a dead bug.
And there's been plenty of virtual pest control going on this year.
But how about some more? Up next, we have a juicy update on Starship Troopers Extermination.
How did you make that weird?
I'm Peter Maurice. I'm the project lead for Starship Troopers Extermination.
Not a single! Would you like to know more?
New update coming to the game.
Oh god.
Carnage on Planet
Buddy,
X11.
you need a nap.
The Carnage system itself is basically persistent bug bodies everywhere in the world. They don't go away. We're bringing the movie into the video game. Being able to climb on top of the bug piles to get the best vantage point over the bugs. It's a system that we've developed in-house.
Yeah, he's games industry.
It's really all about
get some sleep, buddy. Get some sleep.
War to the bugs and being able to show the.
So while it has definitely been overshadowed by Helldivers,
Planet X11 is
mechanically, the Starship Troopers multiplayer game is very, very good. It's up to 12 people co-op, and it's kind of like live base building bug survival. And it's a ton of fun to play. It was super fun in like early alpha and things like that. But what's interesting about it is that the Starship Troopers game misses all of the points of the media that it's drawing from. The goal of this game is to feel awesome, like that one scene where the bugs are all dying but piling up these ramps on the side, with no commentary.
Weak Point's something we've really been excited to finally bring into the game. We've added armor to our bugs. And the weak point on the bugs is where you can easily take...
Yeah, so C222. So this is a team that knows how to make a really good milsim shooter doing sci-fi. Fucking great, brilliant, that's why it slaps. But it's just
Working on Starship Troopers Extermination has been a dream come true for me. It's something that I really...
I hear Angelos and Numbers with the same bit. Yeah, so the game is following the book. War! It's fantastic!
Has been so much fun.
But, like, as a game to play with friends, if you've got a big squad of people that play online,
Grab your friends and
fucking
suit
good.
up in Starship Troopers Extermination, which is available now
But yeah,
on Steam.
Helldivers 2 basically ate their artistic lunch.
With our third and final yearbook edition. Let's throw it over to Supermassive Games and Behavior Interactive for a deep dive into the casting of Frank Stone.
Also, what is this weird yearbook thing they're doing, which doesn't seem to carry through on any other thematics of this?
The Dark Pictures anthology. Please welcome the casting of Frank Stone into our future game show Wants to Watch yearbook.
Okay, but show us.
Single-player
Don't
horror
tell us!
adventure lets you define your own story in the expanded world of the iconic action horror game Dead by Daylight. Players follow an ensemble of intrepid young filmmakers as they set out to film their own home movie at a murder site steeped in tragic history. Prepare to be posed with fate-changing choices, challenging puzzles, and death-defying QTEs as you guide the cast through eerie
Death-defying
environments and
QuickTime
shocking
events.
twists, dodging grisly deaths along the way. The casting of Frank Stone is coming to PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC in 2024. And to give you a closer look at this exciting collaboration, let's throw it over to our friends at Behavior Interactive and Supermassive Games.
Hey, Nick, how in the hot heck are you doing, friend? We're currently on the, oh, here we go.
For the longest time on Dead by Daylight, we knew that we wanted to offer different types of experience to our players. And a single-player narrative experience is definitely one of them.
How are you
Our
doing?
fans have been requesting it quite a lot.
For day 2 of not E3, the Cirque du Keeliay has been interesting. I sadly slept through the Wholesome Games show. Got to see some of the Latin Games showcase, which was real good. The women-led games thing was interesting, but
it's an unashamed horror
and now we're on the Future Games Show Summer Showcase, and it's
we've been thinking around.
okay. The showcase is fucking garbage, but there's been a load of great games that we've seen in this one. So there we go.
That underpins a lot of the Dead by Daylight lore, and so it kind of slipped together as a very natural fit.
It all starts with our 1963 storyline, which is investigation of a missing child, which leads us into a very dark, quite grisly.
I do love how all the people they've chosen to talk to us about this game do look like each of them could be a serial killer.
Subgenres of horror.
Think that belongs to the boy you're looking for?
The main influences were
except for that guy.
To try to be
Kyle says they're collaborating because of the gut jobs. Oh,
understand, relate to. At the same time, part of it you don't understand, and it creates a mystery. We're always going back to the classic slasher horror movies and characters that we learn to love and hate at the same time.
What?
One thing we really latched onto quickly was the idea.
Oh, and so Sean, this is going to be more like the
creative art could become a vehicle
Until Dawn and games like that. Like you have a group of characters, you follow them and make choices and play QTEs to help them not die.
Of an infamous serial killer's crimes.
As opposed to, like, you know,
Vehicle
the
where
Dead
we
by
could
Daylight
bring in
style.
Other influences of horror that we really like.
Either of you heard of Murder Mill?
Right off the start of the project, talking with
That guy's eating a person's leg wrapped in a bacon leaf.
Because we're
banana
passionate
leaf.
about horror, and we basically get our inspiration from the same sources. So it was great talking with them and seeing that a lot of the sources for inspiration they're using have been the same that we've been looking into at the genesis of Dead by Daylight. So in that sense, our fans and also new players that will experience this can see that both titles are from the same lineage.
Fred,
So
you're
for
right, it does
fans
need more
of
dating.
Supermassive games that still haven't stepped into the fog of Dead by Daylight, this is going to be a great first step.
Come on, people, we got a movie to make!
The casting of Frank Stone is coming later this year. And with that, we've wrapped up our Ones to Watch yearbook for the summer show.
Thank fuck.
Go team!
It also means we're closing in on the end of the show.
Thank fuck.
But that doesn't mean that we're done with the world premieres.
Ah, beans.
I love treasure. It's nice to have someone else do the dirty work for you. And only that annoying mongoose always ruins everything. Nicoririco, you and your friends can't stop.
This feels like a Devolver bit. This feels like a Devolver bit. Like at the end, Volvy's gonna jump through and be like, "Hey, did you need me?" This big fucking hands. It looks like a fake trailer that comes with a mobile game. That's it. And then you cut to it and it's just like a button-pushing game. The character design, the way this is being shot, is exactly like those fake mobile game ads. The Donkey Kong Country bit, the Crash Bandicoot bit, I guess, Katy Perry? The UI looks like it's been added in post. But apparently it's real and coming to PS5. Okay.
Nico de Rico is an all-new mascot platformer from developer Via Games as part of the new publishing label Knight's Peak, which was announced today. It's coming soon to PC and consoles.
You might have seen our next game before. It blew up on social media.
And as Unholy Glee says, and none of those characters will escape Rule 34. Okay, so you know what I was talking about Shooty Gunbang? And how I'm down for it if it's interesting. Now, there's actually a pretty easy, apparently, easy. The way to create this like pseudo-realistic body cam footage in UE5 is surprisingly straightforward. But it certainly gives it some fucking weight. Like, this is uncomfortable and tense. I don't know if you noticed also, the faces are blurred, as if you're playing, like, declassified footage. But it's a multiplayer shooter. And Miyake Sakura, it does give more of a horror game feel. And I kind of appreciate that they're not just going the horror route, as a lot of the other body cam footage style games are, because, you know, actually having to fight people with guns is not fun. It is scary as shit, you know?
Final trailer.
You just go paintballing in an abandoned mall in the UK. I heard they closed that place.
But before we wrap things up, I have one small question for you, Roger Clark. Aerith or Tifa?
That's interesting. I feel like that's kind of a loaded question in this scenario.
You fucked a goat! Don't hesitate!
It's just a hypothetical, you know? There's no wrong answer.
Sorry. It's not even 2 o'clock in the afternoon and you got me yelling goat fucker.
You see, that's really interesting, you know?
It's taken you a long time to answer this.
Well, if I had to choose between Tifa and Aerith...
He chooses the chocobo.
I have to go with...
Don't be a coward now, goat fucker. What does this have to do with Final Fantasy VII?
That...
What the fuck?
...to come from Woodrunner Games. an indie studio featuring developers who worked on Cuphead and Rick and Morty.
Oh, Fred, because he went off stage and made goat fucking noises
would coincide with the next
in relation to a goat. That's how I know, Fred. It wasn't like a Duck Detective and the case of this guy's criminal bestiality.
I'm glad we got to do this together. We were outlaws to the end.
Damn right we were. Thanks for sharing the stage with me. And cheers to all of you guys for tuning in. But don't leave just yet, cowboy, because we've got the post-show coming up right after this with more trailers and deep dives on the way.
There'll also be tons of follow-up content on GamesRadar.com and our FGS social channels on YouTube and TikTok.
Finally, before we take off, we'd also like to thank the hardworking developers, trailer makers, PR representatives, and everyone.
You're right, you should thank all of them because you ruined their shit!
Showcase the reality. Even in such turbulent times, we couldn't have done it without you.
Don't forget to head to the Future Games Show Steam page to find all of today's games.
We did, and you kept getting rid of the things I was trying to find and then putting them back.
But your wish lists go a long way. So, if you like a project, go ahead and show it.
I've been there the whole time!
And I'm Britt Barron.
And this has been the Future Games Show Summer Showcase 2024.
Oh.
Great job.
Do not congratulate that.
Hello and welcome to IGN Live Day 2. Coming up is the IGN Live Saturday Expo, a big, huge block of never-before-seen...
Amos, when did you run in here when the guy said IGN Live? What do you know that I don't?
But first, it's time to look...
Okay, you can lie down. Good boy. Are you trying to warn us? Is this a lassie's trap down the well? No, Unholy Glee, I'm there with you. Honestly, I think me and Amos are just gonna host next year. What do you reckon, Amos? You wanna do a showcase for Future Game Show? He yawned and looked at me unimpassionately, so I think we're already ahead of the game. Whatever the hell this is, it looks gorgeous, but I think we've been derailed to IGN Live, and I don't see...
At least Tifa's VA is getting work while we're waiting on part 3.
Oh, was that person the person who did Tifa's voice? I mean, good on them. It was cringe, awful, awkward, and I feel bad that they had to be a part of that, but... Amos takes a shit on stage. Less awkward than Goatfucker.
Hello and welcome to the world of Lost Helden.
God, back in my JRPG days, I would have lived this game.
Which pays homage to the golden era of the JRPGs on PS1 by allowing you to play inside a living painting.
Certainly more helpful than Jeff, yeah.
You will see an exclusive preview of the combat system in the very first dungeon.
I hear Tifa is getting a lot of work in the Italian Senate lately.
Big fan of the Italian Senate. And Nick, thank you for the bits.
The fights take place in 2 distinct phases.
Okay.
The action phase, during which you can...
Hang on, let me come back to studio mode, because I do not...
Like in any action game, you can...
Hang on, let me mute this guy.
Or...
Because I'm not 100% sure what the bloody hell is going on right now. Because they said there was a continuation on the Future Game Show stuff, but it seems to have just thrown us to IGN Live. And I don't understand. Because, well, I do have some good friends that work at IGN. Like, IGN as an entity has laid off people that I respect and people that I know in the industry, so I'm not giving them any free coverage unless I absolutely have to. But yeah, I am glad that we just watched... Oh, hang on, put some tunes on. That we just watched the Future Games Showcase, because it was a great example of what not to do. Oh, no. Okay, so Mark was saying, so Roger Clark was the guy who did Arthur Morgan, and then Britt Batten did Tifa. God, well, I feel bad for Britt. I don't know whose idea that whole thing was, but... yeah, and Nick, I'm very much in the same regard. What little snifter I had of respect for IGN as an operation's gone. I mean, freaking same for Sega, right? They laid off all my friends. Get fucked. Get fucked, Sonic. I hope your cloaca falls off, or whatever it is that hedgehogs have. No, wait, no, that's ducks. Yeah. I mean, horrifying corkscrews, Angelos, but yeah. Anyway, it doesn't seem like we're missing anything out of this IGN launch. So, jumping back. So, how has today been? Day 2 of Summer Games Fest. From what I can see, obviously viewing figures are down on a lot of streams, but people are paying attention. The Wholesome Games Direct, from my understanding, did very well, as we're getting a lot of good coverage. And the Latin Game Showcase was good. Again, the women-led showcase is a weird one. Ultimately, it resulted in a lot of games getting additional coverage, which is good. Oh yeah, so Chaunerist, those were the ones I did see. I'm glad we came in for whatever this disaster was. But again, it's interesting how like Keeliay front loads it with best day for him, and then just kind of lets everybody else do their own thing. There's no Summer Games Fest throughout the week, right? What I mean is like, Keeliay is not presenting all of these showcases, he's not playing host for an event like in E3 and stuff like that in the past. And I'm just trying to... I mean, same as we did last year, it's trying to understand, does this have value? You know, when we talked to a bunch of media people last year in terms of Summer Games Fest and how it gets covered, you know, it was an interesting discussion, but there's definitely like a drop-off. Are we watching Cybermania? Is that our fucking palate cleanser? Oh, you want secondhand embarrassment? That's a banger. Oh yeah, so Miyakini Sakura, yeah, Crow Country is actually made by the same person who did Rain on Your Parade and Leaf Blower Man. But anyway, Crow Country is going to be a very good game. Let me grab you the... Not Crow Country, God damn it, Crow Country is the survivor. It's not Crow Country, it is... Hang on. My brain's still fucking recovering from that showcase. Goddamn go fucker. Just Crow Things, that's it. There we go. Sorry about that. And yes, Angelos, they are a Seattle dev. I know him real well. They asked if we wanted to do some stuff around Games Fest with demo, but real life's been kicking my ass. I'm hoping that when it comes to launch, we'll be able to do some cool stuff with them, because it's a really good game. You know, it takes all of the things from Leaf Blower Man and Rain in Your Parade and blends them together with Crow Chaos. Who doesn't want that? Amos, buddy, stop chewing your pausies. I have to get his cone in a second. I mean, Miyakini Sucker, thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, you got rumbled. The internet found out what you're up to. Sorry, I'll shimmy over so you can watch the dog more. Good boy. Okay. Yeah, no, it does seem that the conferences and whatnot are now have pretty much come to a conclusion. So what we decide to do from here is entirely up to us. You got me for a little while. I mean, Kyball, we could do a rewatch of the Wholesome Game Show. Hell, bring up the fucking Wholesome Game Show. Seems I've forgotten how to speak people words. The Wholesome Games page, which did have a bunch of bangers. I don't know. Sorry, I feel it's still a little too early in this Summer Games Fest to start deconstructing it proper, but it is interesting that, like, anything that's not directly part of Cirque du Keeliay, the quality levels are so drastically different. And Beater, I didn't get to watch the accessibility showcase yet, so I can't comment on it. But Laura K. Dale's a fucking cool person, so, you know, you don't need me to say anything on that one. Hey, but you're okay. Just don't chew your peas. Where the fuck was I? I mean, here's the thing. E3 was always a mess. Like, getting any coverage out of E3 was damn near impossible. And Summer Games Fest is far better for small devs. Like, 100 times more. Because, like, for E3, it wasn't just you had to have a stand. You had to have the stand. And you had to be on the stage for the press conferences. And then have booked all your people a million years in advance. For any of the big titles that... Sorry, any of the standout titles that we've seen coming from the indie space, even being acknowledged at E3 was a mathematical impossibility. Sorry, my brain's going all over the place. Maybe we should start building some stuff. Yeah, I mean, that is the baby boy. Sorry, I'm rechecking all the stuff from Wholesome Games that I might have missed. Like the little mobile bookshop game. See if there's any other like little bangers that popped up. Oh yeah, no, it's literally so Lyris, it's literally called Tiny Bookshop. Let me pass that over to you there. You have your little bookshop and a trailer. You drive your car around, open it up, sell people cool books. Let's go. Okay, so jumping back. I guess the thing that keeps coming to mind is that we're still in essentially a transitional period. Like, Keeley has established Cirque du Keeliay. That is doing great. That is doing fine. There it is. Jobs are good. It's a banger. Well, it isn't a banger. More to the point that it is a successful part of the gaming media sphere. If your game is in Games Fest, it's going to get discussed. It's going to get talked about. And the other things around it are still trying to find their feet. that future game show thing, gods, I hope the people involved didn't have to pay a lot of money to put their game in there, so I'd feel bad for them if they did. Right, I'm sorry, I know that comes across as really fucking mean, but I'd be fucking livid if I had paid for that. You know, right now, the establishment of like good showcases needs to be either based around an existing brand or authenticity. You know, we do have the PC game show tomorrow, which has continued but is in varying levels of chaos. Amos, you're okay. I know, you are the baby boom. Do you have strong opinions on the video game space right now? Any strong opinions? Don't let me get you going. So yeah. It's also worth putting into consideration that the PlayStation, Microsoft, Nintendo, that they kind of exist outside of this media circus in the sense that they have such rampant brand loyalty that Nintendo do their Nintendo Directs whenever the fuck they feel like it, and everyone's going to cover it. Now that we no longer need everybody to be in LA all at once for these, you know, this big event. Nintendo's like, why the fuck are we going to spend millions upon millions of dollars to fly people halfway around the world when we can just wait 2-3 weeks and have all the media attention to ourselves? PlayStation has always kind of struggled to find its feeting. Some years, PlayStation's command of the media circus has been second to none, and other years, well, they made Hideo Kojima walk 10 minutes from one place to another, so a guy with a banjo could play a sad song in a weird, creepy hall. I'm getting sassed at by the dog. Microsoft have definitely understood the power of the media circus, and they're doing their big thing tomorrow, which we will be covering as best we can. But, you know, we're talking about the things outside of that, you know? Sorry, as Angela says, is there going to be a car on stage? Quite possibly. Shout out to Matt Leaves, the first one who'd been like, oh, I just fucking love cars. I like how they look. I like how they smell. Why put a car on stage for a racing game? Oh, I just fucking love cars. Sean says, I kind of think of how I was featured on John Walker's site of Buried Treasures and got 0 sales difference. Yeah. I mean, okay, so John Walker, the people that read his stuff now are fans of his. Like, he's almost transcended into personality from, like, Journo. Right? Like, there's a ton of titles on there, but predominantly it's all about how he writes about it. I don't know. Amos is done with my nonsense. I don't know, sorry, bring it back up. But, I'm Sean, I'm sorry like you didn't see a sales bump on that one, but the media space is still learning how to be whatever it's transitioning into. You know, the YouTube sphere is pretty much sewn up. Streaming is more solidified than other places, but it's still, you know, changing and shifting as well. Games media could be fucking anything. But there's this interesting thing of, like, the difference between people that are a source of information, of research and of knowledge, and people that are personalities, you know? We talked about this a million years ago, and honestly, I don't give a shit now. Come at me, Uncle Sonic, I don't give a fuck. But during one of the Sega titles, they did a big spend. They paid a big old YouTuber to play their game. You know, the kind of person who back in the day got millions of views just by existing. So they pay him a big chunk of money, he plays the game, and there is no bump in sales. Because the people weren't going to him to find out what's the next thing to play. They go to him because he makes YouTuber noises while playing a video game. Spoiler, it's not Markiplier. Markiplier is awesome and I will stand him. It's one of the other bell ends. And it was the realization that the game is a vehicle for the audience to be entertained by so-and-so. And I don't know. Sorry, I know I'm not saying anything new. I mean, shit, we talked to Jesse Cox about this like 2-3 years ago. Was it longer? God. But just the idea that while there are multiple people who will all play a game, which ones actually push the needle, which ones get your game out there, your name known, is drastically different. And I don't know if we've got a really good way of defining different individuals. Content creator is such a broad nothing burger, but influencer doesn't actually do the job either, because the kind of people that are discussed when you talk about influencers don't actually influence their audience when it comes to games purchasing, because the audience is there for the person, right? Like, I'm not one of those. I'm not a personality. I am your friendly flavour of British banter, and hopefully someone that can show you some games you didn't already know. Numpty for hire. Thank you, Fred. You get me. You get me. But if you tell somebody my profession, what do? Well, Will's a streamer that works in video games. Oh. Well, that doesn't tell you a fucking thing. Right? Well, I guess, Martin, it's more the case of there aren't a lot of us, so it's not like the long ship moves the needle. You know? We know. We get it. The strange indie good stuff, the things off the beaten track. We know that. But it's not like it's like I can just wave my hand and create great success. Sean, that's very kind of you. And Ludo, Watto and welcome. Coming in. So yeah, Sean, the thing is, I'm not... That advice wasn't mine that I gave you. That advice came from the Dead Cells team. They wrote a whole fucking... It's an article, but it's basically a paper on how to market your game via streamers. That is fucking great. Like, don't pay 5 huge people to play your title. Now, there are exceptions to that. Really, it does depend on the game. So, like, something that is experiential or narrative-based, nah. But something that is repeatable, you know, your esports titles, your shooty gun bang battle royales and things like that, you can push the needle on those. You know. But the problem being is that most people that discuss this kind of style of marketing are only really talking about number go up, but not why number go up. You know, I forget what the Fortnite crossover was. It was like some famous musician and some famous streamer played Fortnite together, and it caused a huge spike in interest, which then caused a whole bunch of marketing agencies to double down on reaching out to big streamers and famous people. But the games that they were pushing in these other spaces and how they were doing it never even came close to what that initial spike was for Fortnite, but cost way more. Ninja and Drake, that was it, Quasi. Thank you. Oh, fucking Drake. Ah! How that story ended. Aged like milk. But more the point that it was a zeitgeist moment within like the gaming space. But loads of marketing agencies tried to recapture that lightning in a bottle, and they did it for games which weren't a multiplayer title, that weren't repeatable. You know, skill-based multiplayer titles work because when the audience sees it, they get that feeling of, I could do this. I could be the next esports superstar or what have you. I could do that. But with narrative titles, with experiential titles, you watch somebody play through it, and then if you play it yourself, you're like, oh, well, I know what's going to happen. But if even that...
Stop that incessant clicking.
Oh, and J-Post, thank you for gifting a sub to Ludo. That's really fucking cool of you. And yeah, so...
Stop that incessant clicking.
J-Post, fucking legend, thank you. And now, Sean, you don't have to worry about ads either. Jobs again! But yeah, Sean was mentioning the Tarkov scene. That one I think is so funny because it was never a maintainable bubble. And when they shifted to the data mining is breach of EULA, and then later on with the also we're going to introduce a copy that's an extra $150. Oh. Okay, so Angelo's Pacific Drive is like Outer Wilds and Subnautica in that once you have experienced it, you can't experience it again. But you can get as close an approximation by watching others go through it the first time. Right? See, with PUBG, Fortnite, etc., it's a battle royale, so you're always chasing that one good game. You might have it at the end of the night, you might have it at the start of the night, but you're always chasing that repeatable experience. But with Subnautica, you can't experience it the same way again. The awe, the wonder, the fear, the terror. With Outer Wilds, having it all unfurl before you, understanding the mystery, can never be experienced twice. But you can go and watch somebody else do that. So with that, it's not that the streamer inspires the sale, it's that the streamer maintains a person's love for the title. So you don't want to pay someone massive to play Outer Wilds, to play one of these titles promotionally. You want to let that stuff just like tick. You want to let that stuff tick over to permeate the gaming sphere and help create this this continued enthusiasm, so that when it comes time to do, you know, Pacific Drive 2, now it's a moped, all of those people who have now played it, loved it, watched other people playing it, are now clamoring for more. And yes, Angelos, you're right, that their journey will always be different. Same with Subnautica, same with, again, Outer Wilds. But I'm sorry I always pick on it. Was it Pinstripe? Yeah, Pinstripe. Now, Pinstripe is a hyperbole example, but it is a cautionary tale. So, Pinstripe is a... It was Pinstripe, wasn't it? Yes, it was Pinstripe. Okay. Okay. Oh yes, because Neversong was the follow-up. Alright. So here's the thing. Pinstripe was a short indie title. Gorgeous. Side-scrolling narrative. And they went hard. So they paid a bunch of YouTubian individuals to be voiced characters in the game, and they paid them to cover the game at launch. But the thing was, it's a story game. And it's a pretty heavy one. And what happened was that these huge individuals with huge audiences watched their favourite person play it and get to the point where their favourite person is hearing their favourite person doing the VO and went, wow, that's great. But no one fucking bought it. Like, their aggressive marketing for the title undermined the very thing that users would have been looking for. And yeah, numbers. Pinstripe was an interesting game, but went so drastically the other way. And here's the thing, it's a very hyperbole example because they went so far into marketing it via content creation, and it backfired so drastically. Sean says, one crazy thing, okay, we released December 1st, and streamers play every week. Mention the value of promotion, and they'd say, you don't have enough concurrent users. Sorry, I might be misreading. Now, I will say on this side, the marketing value is entirely based on concurrence because it's one of the few things that marketeers can track. That and promotional links, like click-throughs and stuff like that. Actually, here's one that... I won't name any names because I'm not in the business of shit-talking, but I had somebody contact me. About... an incredibly mid title. But I don't know, is this even the right one? Oh no, it's something completely different. It's even worse. Okay. But this particular title, they actually wanted me to pitch them. They wanted me to pitch them, and they wanted us to bid essentially a value for a stream, with the idea that they would pick whichever bid they particularly wanted. And I've been livid about that for days now. For days. Now, obviously, they're doing this big shotgun blanket. But, firstly, fuck off. Secondly, fuck off. I've bid on their point, and it's like... yeah. You know what, I don't think you need me to explain to you why that's potentially naive, but definitely a scummy way of trying to market your game. Because here's the thing, they've basically hit a double negative. Because one, no, I am not going to pitch you our stream with budget so you can then just bid on whichever one you can, sorry, and bid so you can then choose whichever one that you want bestest. And now that you have done that, even if it was through a third-party agency, I am now bearing a fucking grudge. Yeah, and Sean, the Steam marketing stuff is a different kettle of monkeys altogether, and some of it that they put out, like the marketing advice they give, is pretty good. Like, it's not all trash tier. Anyway, sorry, we're getting wildly off topic here. Wildly off topic. I guess I'm just... There's still a lot of unboiled piss in my heart right now, and I'm trying not to funnel that through people that we can smash. Alright, here's what I will say. The kinds of people that we do work with here at the Longship, the kind of people that do contact me for stuff, they know what we do, they know what we're about, and they are either giving me work to help keep the Longship going, or they genuinely like how we talk about games and how we show them off. And because of that, I try and tweak budgets and prices based to either what the title is or what they can afford. And I'm stupid lucky to be able to do that, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Lizzie, I think we were talking about the different facets of games media. Content creators, influencers, you know, media, print, like, media, you know, written journos, that kind of thing. And how the games media sphere is shifting. And the only part of Summer Games Fest that has really solidified, or parts, is the actual Summer Games Fest itself and the big three showcases. I guess Devolver as well, but there are they're a complementary bolt-on. And yeah, Lizzie, sliding scale for the win. Look, if we're dealing with an indie team that has negative budget and they want to work with us, I'll give them as much of the time of day as I can. You know, often a lot of my discussions start with teams being like, all right, do you have budget? What can you work with? So... sorry, Ludo and Quasi, I missed the banter back and forth. So Quasi says, what about cutting a streamer demo version for story-driven games? Demo marketing's a different beast. Steam Next Fest has created a situation where people are like down to cover a whole bunch of demos in close succession, and people want to watch, which is pretty cool. But if you're going to be hitting content creators about a demo, you're going to be needing to pay cash. There are very, very, very few games that I would predominantly cover just the demo of. It would need to be something that's very specifically us, you know? Rain World 2, right? Silk Song. If somehow Team Cherry even knew we existed and went, hey, do you want the exclusive on the Silk Song demo? Yeah, no, we'll cover that, yeah. If people want to spend budget on us covering their demo, then that's cool too. Because predominantly, people don't stick around on live streams when you swap topics very, very quickly. So if you swap between 5 games, you will always see a diminishing number of people watching the stream. That's just the nature of the beast. It's like, whenever you take a break, people leave. Because what happens is that people are enjoying the show, and then you stop and they go, oh man, I'm hungry, thirsty, I need to pee, and I haven't paid attention to my pets. Like, real life comes a knocking. But for the rest, I mean, more Kodansha stuff. Lovely. J-Post, I can thank you. Also, Lyris, when did you get the Yaldum? Oh, it's because my Gundam camera's in the way. That's why I didn't see it. So Sean, from friends that have been known for a game in their streaming careers, unfortunately it's pretty much professional suicide. To switch from one title to a drastically different one, if that is what they are known for. However, this is where kind of like paid sponsorship comes in. And I guess I'm telling you from this side of the screen now. So like, there are certain games that I know you lot will enjoy watching, or at least having on while I talk to you. I've got a pretty good sense of our squad and what we're about. And if something drastically outside of that sphere was like, hey, we'd like you to do a day streaming, I don't know, Kafka's Match 3. Actually, there was a Kafka-esque platformer that was very interesting. I wonder what happened to that. I met the GDC one year. But anyway, that's the point where if they're approaching us, I'll be like, hey, there is a very good chance that everybody on the longship is going to be like, nah. So this is how much it will cost for me to play this throughout the day. For individuals that are known for a game or a specific set of games, they can usually get away with a day. Like, maybe 2 tops of stepping outside of their sphere. So, for example, like somebody that's known for, like, Genshin. If they play a non-Genshin game, their viewership will drop like a stone. If they move entirely away from that, like, it's so hard going. You know, that's all I can add on that one. So Fred says, here's a question, completely and utterly unrelated to what we watched. What is a reasonable asking price for entry level to get into a new hobby? I mean, the question then, Fred, is what is entry, right? Well, so, because I'm a Gundam fan. What do you need to start building Gundams? Well, you need kit, which starts at like $8, and you need a pair of pliers and a pair of nippers. You can get a full kit of like basic pliers, some sanders, even some little stuff for another $8 online. You can build your first Gundam for under 20 bucks. But that's not where it stands, right? You know? Quasi was saying Magic the Gathering casual, 50 bucks. Yep. Warhammer's probably the higher price point because you're looking at one boxed product. So how much is Kill Team? Warhammer Kill Team. Okay, so Kill Team is 85 bucks. Yeah. So you're looking like 85 to 100 there. But then the question is like, where do you go from there? So Fred was saying in a friendly local store yesterday and the Into the Hobby 40k kit was around that. Well, okay, so depending on the hobby, it needs to be... You need to be able to partake in whatever the core thing is. Technically, Warhammer is a tabletop miniatures game. So you need to be able to play and game of it, and have the tools needed to get there. Like, so Mega Boss, the starter set with models to paint, whether or not you consider that to be the core entry level, that is another question. Because like we've still got them. I haven't had the chance to start painting them yet, and my hands are too fucked up from sleep deprivation and feelings to paint my little buddies. But they're still there. They're base coated. You know, they're waiting for us. No, they're waiting for me. But if we look at it predominantly, so like Magic the Gathering, you need to be able to play a game of Magic the Gathering. So you need a 60 card deck. And that is it, right? But yeah, but Mega Boss, the question was entry into the hobby. And Beadora, thank you for letting me know you can pet the dog in Tiny Bookshop. That is important. So Quasi was saying, as a fun tangent, what would you consider entry-level setup for video games? That is a great one. Now, honestly, if we're being pragmatic about this, it is probably a Nintendo Switch, right? Because Steam Deck is good, but you do need games literacy before you get into it. Budget laptops, you're in a situation where you can play some things, not others. Like, a budget laptop is not a good entry point, right? The Switch is a console that you buy that can plug into the TV, but isn't required. You don't need a TV to play it. And if a game works on the Switch, it works on the Switch. That is what I would call... The Nintendo Switch has full AAA titles available. It has indie titles available. You know? Hey, hilarious. Budget laptops are trash. Hey, I mean, if you can get all the bloatware off them, some of them are good. But, like, it's so hard to clear some of them of bloatware now. It's easier to just fucking nuke the hard drive and start again. So yeah, so Quasi, I mean, I'd still say main Switch rather than Switch Lite because then you have to explain to a user. But yeah, so 250 to 300 bucks. Well, mobile games are a very specific beast. But much like buying something like Playdate or or that budget laptop that Lyris was talking about, what you can and can't access with a mobile title is very, very complex. Like, one of the reasons why there are a handful of very, very successful mobage is because they have the budget to be everywhere, and because it is incredibly difficult to find and research good mobile phone games. Like, as someone who lives in this sphere, who spends an inordinate amount of time looking up, like, real video games, learning about mobile titles is fucking hard. Like, you would not believe how much research it took to find out about Witch Survivor, basically the inspiration for Vampire Survivors, because it was a game released on mobile and just left. There's no huge marketing spend, there's nothing. It's buried in a bunch of different stores. Like, to go from zero to playing a video game, you can do that on a phone. To get into gaming, the phone is a difficult starting point. Do you know what I'm saying? Now again, the Playdate is... To physically hand somebody a Playdate is a much easier prospect than say, oh, just get some games on your phone. Megaboss saying Kingdom Rush is available on most platforms. It is, but without Googling it, Megaboss, which Kingdom Rush game should somebody get? Without Googling it, which one should they get? Hey. Anishka saying the Suka game, the little matching fruit game. It is. It is on mobile. Which one should a person get if they're about to start playing it? And this is my point. If you have a Switch and you say, oh, get the little fruit matchy game, there is one fruit matchy game, it's the original one, and it's easy to find. But if you point someone into like the deluge of the iOS App Store, or the Google Play, like you're sending them into a hive of scum and villainy. Anyway. And yeah, Beadora, you make an excellent point. If you search fruit matching game on a mobile store... Oh, Dice Goddess, Watto and welcome. But yeah, so that would be what I would say. Like, and this isn't a diss. I mean, this is the reason why we were so excited about the Cozy Cove, whatever it was, being released by Netflix Games, because that's a much clearer way to start playing some games. I've been talking about this with someone recently who has not had the opportunity to play games since they're, since before they were a teenager. Their laptop sucks, but they have a phone. What should they try and play? And it is such an impenetrable space to talk someone through. Because again, as Lizzie's saying, like with the mobile versus Switch, which phone? It is fucking hard to work out if a mobile title is going to work for the phone you have. You just have to start playing it and hope it doesn't fucking break. Like, I don't know if you've read the reviews on most mobage, but they'll have a whole block of people that were like, I love this game, and then it updated, and now it's not, now I can't even boot it. It makes the Steam reviews look like a concise and coherent place of discussion. Actually, Sean, did they ever re-release Doom RPG? I know I've talked about it in the past. I got super into the Doom roguelike for a while. And Beadora, that makes sense. So far as I understand, like, a large proportion of Roblox's success is equivalent to it runs on mobile, it runs on those POS computers you get at the library. Like, it works on everything. Meaning that it has that webcaf type project where somebody can log in pretty much anywhere and play. But yeah. And again, so like, Angelos, I don't disagree on getting a whole bunch of like a games collection for someone who's looking to get into games. The one thing I always recommend is if you have a friend who has expressed an interest in games, don't think about mechanics, think about thematics, because people are more likely to struggle through something if they enjoy the thematics rather than the mechanics, because they don't know yet. They haven't sampled enough of the buffet to know what they're going to like in terms of actually playing, but intellectually what's going to grab them is what's like visually available. So there's, yeah, the 6-in-1 cartridges are good, but giving somebody like 100 retro games all at once will be a very, very daunting prospect, you know? So yeah, so going back to it, it's like what is the bare minimum amount of cash to get into games is a much more nebulous question than with other like hobbies based on physicality. Wait, Shitaru, Martin, did I not talk to you about the Doom roguelike? That shit slaps. Oh shit, and whoever that was, thank you. Oh, I need to find the right one though. Oh, here we go. Doom Infinite. Okay, sorry about this. So here is the page on ModDB. If you start playing this, your evening is gone. In a good way, but your evening is gone. Do not wait until Sunday night to boot this up and go like, oh, let me see how I feel about this. Don't do that. Death lies down that path. Darkness. Destruction.
Bless you.
Thank you. I've always, I don't know, this is a weird thing. I feel like I should keep track of when I sneeze during a day because I always sneeze at least once. And it feels like it's always around the same time. Coincidence? Who knows? Angel's like, I'm getting the contains paid promotion. No, this is more like, you know, hi, it's me, your sleep-deprived friend. I made the mistake of playing Doom Infinite on a Sunday evening. And do you know what it did to me? It nearly fucking killed me. Don't be like me. If I had the kind of chair, I'd do the Captain America, so you decided to start playing a new roguelike on a Sunday night. Yeah, Angelos, maybe I am allergic to 2 PM. That could be it. Yeah, and Fred, I hope you don't think that I was, like, on that previous topic, because I do think it's a really interesting discussion. You know, games have taken over most of the planet, and we're at the tipping point. Well, I guess we came kind of past the tipping point. By which I mean, you are no longer having to really pitch video games to people. They will probably, if you are the known gamer, lol, of your like family or social circle, people will come to you and be like, hey, how about them video games? Yeah. Well, actually, so Fred, I really like how you brought up Gundam and previous things before discussing this, because this is where it gets complicated. So, you want to get into Gundam. Here's a kit, here's a pair of nippers, jobs are good. But at what point are you actually into Gundam? Because I'm looking at a bunch of kits, and a bunch of tools, and a bunch of paints, and things like that, you know. What's that one quote? The Columbo quote? Man could go broke with a habit like this. And I think Warhammer's very, very similar. If you want to play Warhammer, you need a box game, and that's it. But that's not where it ends, right? When are you fully into tabletop miniatures? How much does it cost to play D&D? You know? because it's broken down to little bits and you kind of step into it slowly rather than just being like, here are my life savings day one. And I think video games is a very, very similar thing. We keep seeing these discussions about the $70 price point of video games and how things are changing. There are so many different factors at play. But what I love about Fred's question is it brings us back to a very, very important thing that I am guilty of forgetting to discuss, and that most of the games industry really needs to fucking check themselves, is that how much is a dollar worth? I don't mean like in terms of inflation, but like, you know, so a games industry... Hello, Amos. Do you know how much a dollar is worth? Or did you come in here to try and chew your pausies because you thought I wasn't paying attention? Yeah, leave it alone. I'll get the cone. I'm trying to give him a break from having the cone on. Okay, you're very cute. The games industry has been making a case over the last few years that AAA games need to cost $70. Their reasoning is because cost of development is so high and that they desperately, desperately need to bring in more revenue to support this. Now, you know my stance on this. AAA has bloated itself past the point of sustainability, and I think it is unfair to put the onus on us to keep their bad construction alive. They have chosen to make their games out of, you know, platinum carved ivory trophies. When really, they should just be making a stage set. You know what I mean? It's Waterworld. But that's my philosophical stance on their business model. For a user, if you ask for $70, that user is going to go, all right, what else does $70 get me? And right now, $70 is a lot of food. It's a huge chunk of bills. Everybody's hurting right now, and the disconnected disingenuousness of being told you need to pay more for games when the majority of people are hurting financially. It's real, got that real weird feel. Morland says the last grocery trip 70. Yeah, most people are spending like $100 a grocery trip, and while being sensible. All right, now I mean, like, me and Fiona are both used to being poor. You know, we've been varying levels of broke for many, many years. But you know, when you've got to pick up some dog food and stuff, like, things really start creeping up. Dice Goddess is spending $300 a week, like, and yeah. Yeah, Lizzie's spending like $300 bi-weekly. So $70 for some of us is a whole week's worth of food, or like a third of our food budget. And I'm bringing this back around because what Fred was saying is that, you know, we can discuss the business models, we can discuss a whole bunch of things, but ultimately it is the user's purchasing decision is where these decisions are made. You know, the user isn't thinking about, as Fred was saying, the poor executives, they need their bonus. Or the fact that, I don't know, AAA Maflamf decided to hire 10 people for ultra-realistic horse bollocks, and thus drove the price of production of that video game up through the roof because the horse balls, I guess, Rockstar. But yeah. And if you want to bring this back around to Summer Games Fest, how many great games have we seen over the last 2 days that don't do that? I mean the ridiculous bloated AAA budget, not the horse testicles. Like, okay, I want you to do a little exercise with me, friends. I'll hang on, let me bring up my main screen. I'm gonna do it with you. All right, so we're gonna go to our wish lists. All right, we're gonna go to our Steam wish lists, and I want you to play along if you can. And Sean, we'll get into that in just a second. Now, this is usually how I have mine set up because it shows me when games are coming out. So the things that I wish list games that I either want to share with you or I find interesting. But we're gonna do by date added. There we go. So the date we have added them, and get rid of like the pre-release, and let's have a look. Because
Hey now, those jiggle physics cost a bit to code, gotta get some use out of them.
Bacon, thank you for the bits. But you and I both know that when it came to Red Dead Redemption 2, they weren't even, it was bespoke. It was somebody's job. It wasn't off-the-shelf jigglins. Anyway, so let's have a look at what we've been wishlisting over the last couple of days. Now, for me, there's a few games I've stalked, so I knew about them ahead of time. But like, alright, Tiny Bookshop, Pine, A Story of Loss. Now, this was the Eric Schlom, The Stolen Dreams. But look at this one, alright? We saw this earlier. The art style is this weird, like, model kit diorama. And yeah, we were talking about the uncanny valley and the animation stuff and things like that, but this isn't a hyper-realistic first-person title. Honestly, I think the cutscenes are bloat, and I'd fucking cut them. But, alright, that's their artistic choice. But the predominance of the game is played... Oh, it is her fucking frame rate! That's why she feels gross. Her animations and her face are on 2 different frame rates. That's why it's so weird! That's why it's so weird. Okay, I get it now. The character model is moving at like somewhere between 24 and 29 frames, and the face is moving at 60. There we go. Mystery solved. And Fred. I was about to say Fred, I didn't choose the name. And I saw the Bacon Avenger memorial frame. Chic on you, y'all.
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Well. It's been a long time. How are the things and the stuff?
The things and the stuff. We're about halfway through Summer Games Fest. We were talking about like the cost of entry to hobbies and video games, and I was discussing how, like, you know, the impenetrability of AAA being so expensive on top of being expensive. Before we continue on with this list, the other thing that struck me was I'd like to play The Last Shape. Now, I'm not going to have time to play it for days, and there are other things that I can do and make and have, so I'm not like desperate need of stuff to do, but like when I think about how much money I've spent on Destiny on top of it, like $50-60 to play the last Destiny expansion, or hopefully not the last Destiny expansion, touch wood, it's a lot of money right now. And God, I often wonder if Destiny 2 had been able to adopt a different business model, if they'd been able to, I don't know. I wonder if there is another way they could have done it for better sustainability, but that's another story. We talked about that a lot last night on Sea of Thieves, and I was definitely a lot more drunk than I had intended. God, guess who fell asleep without having dinner? But anyway, jumping back. So, Fangoriously, thank you for 66 months, and Shitaru for the pint glass and all of those. Like, seriously, you lot are the fucking best, because you do not know how much I love this discussion we're having. I fucking love talking about this stuff. And the fact that I get to do that is awesome. Thank you. Anyway, but I want you to bring up your wish lists, just because Fangoriously joined us. Sort by date added, and let's have a look. Alright? Now, Mandragona had the terrible name, but it's a, you know, Salt and Sacrificed-esque title. 10 Dead Doves. Like, this is clear. Alright, look at this. Look at this. This is clearly being made by some people. It's weird. It's janky. It's fascinating. Look at this. This is not a game that would be improved by hiring 200 extra people to make it. Also, the weird, eerie, photorealistic faces on PS1, but with that animation style, that's such a great way of doing it. It looks creepy and wrong, but at the same breath, it gives it this unique style that costs you less time. Oh, yay! Hey, well, fangoriously. I mean, and same to all of you. None of you are under any obligation to be here, but it's lovely to see you. Right? Nexus says, incredible DSC, 10 out of 10, would witness again.
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Why are you like this?
Once again, I interrupt the Wolfman seat to announce that my cult membership has been renewed.
It's not a cult.
And yes, it is a cult.
It's not a cult.
Viking 64 hug.
Fucking terror. Well, Dom, thank you. That is the full compliment, and I'm very, very grateful. Just fuck you. Angelos was saying it's real funny that AAA is like, we must see every eyelash and peach fuzz, and Indie's like 95% PS1 graphics. And look, like, I don't resent, like, you know, fanciful hair and stuff like that. It's just, it's getting ridiculous where the time and effort is being spent. You know, these AAA games get so over bloated with this constant, like, hyper specialization into hyper specialization. But ultimately, we're not getting more game, and I think users are becoming acutely aware of that. Honestly, if you want a really good hyperbole example, is the newer Star Wars multiplayer games. They cost so much more to make than the originals. So much more. And there's so much less game. The last X-Wing versus TIE Fighter-y game was so bare bones. Like, it barely fucking constituted a free-to-play squad game. Barely. But it was also a box product that cost a fuckload of cash. Whereas X-Wing Alliance was a huge game with a campaign and multiplayer, and this really fucking cool simulator mode where you could play as almost any ship from the classic trilogy against anything. It's also where I found out that Boba Fett's ship actually sucks in a fight. Yeah, that is a great ship for a bounty hunter and a terrible ship for a battle. You know? And no, Fred, you're entirely right. Sound graphics and the big bada boom requires more and more and more of the percentage of the budget. And the complexity of those things puts more increased strain on gameplay mechanics. And the cost of asset creation goes through the roof. Like, back in the day, so like, you know, Angela was saying about the PS1, to make one character for something like Crow Country or 10 Dead Doves, what we saw there, that's going to take somebody a few days. But that's not a huge investment. To make a character like Aloy or Miles Morales, or, you know, pick your favorite AAA example of a really, really good looking character, that requires sometimes years of work. Like, and then you want to have bigger, you can't make a game bigger when the pieces to make it become so expensive, you know? This is the alligator that grows too big to survive. This is the lobster that can't shed its skin. You know? The bloat creates death. Because, let me tell you, Hermit and Pig here... Sorry, I'm bringing this over. This is not a game made by 1,000 people. And I cannot wait to try this. Yeah, Fred. Sorry, I was kind of rushing ahead, but you're right. You get less game for more. You get less game for your budget. They're more expensive with less game, and users don't care sometimes. And yeah, as Fred's saying, like, you know, 2 decades ago we had games that were far more reactionary and, if you'll forgive the term, immersive. You know? Actually, on the subject of, like, immersive sim, contemplating the changes in the Deus Ex series as it's progressed is a really good example of how bloaty budget equal less game. Now, Earthman Dave does make a very good point from a business, which is that nice graphics is something that you can control, you can spend more time and money to make graphic better. It is much more difficult to spend time and money to make gameplay better. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, in theory, if you were smart, you know, as a big chunky publisher, what you'd do is you'd have yourself a really good R&D team making gameplay systems early in a prototyped environment to then escalate those into larger titles. But that means giving up control. But yeah, again, so like, body cam's on there. It's in early access, which is probably why people are grumpy about it. You know, we've got Hell of an Office, which is, what if you had a stapler in neon white? Oh, okay, and in fairness, Dungeons and Degenerates was the thing that Kimball mentioned early, so. But yeah. Oh, one thing that we didn't talk about from earlier, look at this! Woodo. Look at this. Now, okay, I know this isn't something you can convert into larger actiony titles, but everything in this game is made to look like it was a carved wooden object, and I love that. So Kimball says, old white straight men are ruining good game ideas. Yes, 100%. Because they don't want to give up on what they perceive to be their expert knowledge, which they don't have. And they are incapable of giving up creative control, even though they are not the creatives. You know. Probably one of the reasons why I spend so much time researching games is so that I do not fall down this same hole. You know. I get really fucking combative, and I need to get out of this habit. It's a bad habit, don't do this. But I get really fucking combative when people question my industry and product knowledge, because I've had to deal with so many senior white guys that have no fucking understanding of what games are and what they can be. You know, they don't know about Woodo, right? They don't know about Tiny Glade. Look at Tiny Glade! Look at this fucking game. Look at this. Found about this from fucking TikTok last night. Look at that. And it's got sheepies as well. Yeah, and Kimball, like, I am sorry you're going through that. Little sheep's got an umbrella. But it's not a good thing. And fuck you, Keeley, for saying that it is a good thing. Because, like, again, Keeley didn't say boo to a ghost when the layoffs were happening. Keeley only said things about people losing their jobs because none of the games companies were sponsoring Summer Games Fest. So don't think I don't see you, Belen.
Reactor online. Sensors online.
No, don't hit sub when I say Belen! That makes me the bad guy.
Tiny Glade hype.
Limitilly, thank you for the 4 months. How goes it? We got the side by side couple viewing experience. I do want to turn this back onto happier topics, friends. We don't need to boil too much piss right now. But the games industry is in a hugely transitional phase. The push, at least in my humble opinion, the desperate push to games of service is going to body the impossibility of the gigantic development team. You know what? I will do my best, Tilly. I'll do my best. My dyslexic ass has been struggling with many usernames here for quite some time. But jumping back. Sony buys Bungie because they want to make nothing but live service games. Now that's an impossibility. And the live service games we do have are bloating. AAA can't continue at the rate it is because even a slight misstep in release means the machine falls apart. Whereas we see like the strange scaffold methodology of releasing lots of small titles and slowly working up to a space, that's the way to be doing. Micro-publishing has fucking goal. Like, this is the big transitional phase. We'll still have Rockstar. Like, Rockstar have been printing money for thousands of years. You know, GTA Ball Ache or whatever's coming next won't disappear if it doesn't sell every copy, because they already have a game that's printing cash, you know, they're not hurting. But for a lot of the others, they really either got to diversify or just accept oblivion. So Next is saying, yeah, they can barely juggle 2 live service games, not playing any others. Yeah, you know, and that's fine. You know, in terms of how we sell games and in terms of how we structure our games companies, it is entirely possible. Like, it's, I wouldn't say easy. None of this is easy. Making games is fucking hard. But structuring your company in such a way that you can just sustain while paying people real good is entirely doable, and people have been doing it for so long. There are more studios that have achieved sustainability than there are successful live service titles. Just, yeah. But yeah, no, I'm scrolling down to show, like, alright, at what point am I hitting AAA games here? Now, we saw this last night, so Unknown 9 Awakening could be AAA. This was the one based on, like, I believe, like... Oh, they don't have the trailer on the fucking page! It seems to be based on Indian mythology in kind of like a diesel punk magic versus the British thing going on. And it has the vibe of AAA, but again, I don't know. It's being made by Reflector and published by Bandai Namco, but Bandai Namco published small projects as well as large ones, so who knows. But that's the first AAA one we have come across. Also, Volgar the Viking 2 doesn't count because I found out about that. But if you look at everything else, Monster Hunter Wilds, there we go. And hey, the irony that Monster Hunter is one of Capcom's big properties is not lost on me, because they tried for so many years to make this not... Oh, it's nice to see Cindy from Final Fantasy 15 still getting work. They've tried so many times to make Monster Hunter work. Took them bloody years. Fred's saying that growth is an obsession in modern economy. It is. And I don't want to just... Yeah, Fred, I don't want to just say blame capitalism. Because... I mean, yes, capitalism broke. Capitalism no work. But we're stuck under it. And to just point and go, well, it's capitalism's fault, doesn't help anybody. Like, come the revolution, come the Star Trek future, sans currency, be fucking great. Don't even worry about it. But until then, we've got to work, you know, it's D&D 4th edition. It's early Warhammer. The rules suck, but it's unfortunately what we're stuck under. So, how in this system do we make it work? Now, obviously, the investor big portfolio style does not work. So, how do we as individuals create sustainable environments? How do we as users support those environments? Like, that's what we're kind of coming back around to, you know? Oh yeah, no, and Martin, it continues to make me happy that Monster Hunter has become massive. Because, like, being a Monster Hunter fan back in the day was just getting looked at fucking weird. You know, like, oh, is that weird Japanese game with the slow sword? No, it's a cool game. Sean says, you said Diesel Punk, have you seen Mortal Engines? Yes, I watch it when I want to feel good about myself. Hey, did he swap from a big sword... Okay, did he change weapon on the back of his fucking mount there? Sorry, I just had this on the background while we were talking. Did he just change weapons? Because, like, okay, that was 2 different scenes. You can use your mount to hold a second weapon? My katana heavy bowgun life. Let's go. Prepare to get tripped. Sorry. Fuck yeah. But no, I wanted to point out Monster Hunter Wilds because, you know, it's going to be a big, big release next year. And it comes from a franchise that was incredibly niche. Incredibly niche. You know? Also, one of my old homies is working on Possessors, so we're going to watch the trailer from that again, which was a Devolver one last night. Yeah, Ishgar, you can have 2 different hammers. Anyway. Look, I know there's a lot of stuff I've been saying daily, you know?
Captain on the bridge.
Oh, Jimami!
Since when did we stream at reasonable times? I daytime drink in order to catch these streams / yes. How we all doing? Did I miss anything groundbreaking?
No.
Tried Pog.
Honestly, Jimami, the Future Gaming Show was garbage. The Wholesome Direct and Latin Game showcases were good, but ultimately they're good because they were showing off a lot of games that you would have otherwise missed. So, yeah, I just wanted to show you this. Oh yes, and Immortal N, UFO 50, it's coming. As if Derek doesn't hurt me enough. Obviously, building relationships is still our superstar standout, but Tears of Metal. I'm just glad Wraith wasn't there yesterday to hear me just repeatedly scream Scotland. But yes, as I said, I've been kind of repeating myself on a lot of stuff recently, and I hope that you'll understand it's because I think it's things that need repeating. You know, 2024 is not an easy year for anybody, but in terms of, like, video games, they're doing great. Video games are selling so good. More people than ever are playing games. This is not the Atari crash. It is the failings of the gigantic entities. It is their death, but not the death of a medium, right? And, oh yeah, no, Ludo, Braveheart Dynasty Warriors against, like, fantasy zombie British. Like, it's got a roguelike feel, it's got a roguelike element to it where you and your squad of, you and your clan are trying to make it to the, they call it, like, the Dragonfall. This huge, gigantic meteorite of, like, smouldering lava. And it looks fucking good. This is not a game that costs billions to make. But my point being is that while the big operations and the big studios will need to fucking change, some of them will survive, most of them will fucking die. Because they've built a style of game creation that is unsustainable. But the industry is there. The want is still there. If you want to make a video game, you're going to be stepping into a world that is now so understanding and accepting of weird, fucked up, brilliant, bizarre, wonky-ass indie games. Alright? Like, okay, look at this one. Where was, this is not just me picking on Scottish games, but look at this. If you didn't see it earlier. I said, look at this. Stop motion, hand-drawn, explory Scottish miniatures. They're doing the old, like, you start with an action figure and then give it, like, a paint over. And this is a game that was shown off today in one of the showcases. Now, this will not sell 1 million copies, but it might sell 1,000, or maybe 10,000. It's strange, it's different, it's genuine. A little bit horrifying, like those old stop-motion films back in the day. But you know what? You won't forget this. Yeah, see? I got you. I got the good shit. Like, if you wish to create games, you can do it. And you can succeed in that space. And there are very few mediums where that is as much the case, at least in my humble opinion. Alright? So, Chornus, when was the Future of Play Direct? Was that the one that was like at 8 o'clock this morning? Because there's been so many... I've lost track. But yeah, I just wanted to focus on that. Alright, friends? But yeah, once we get down into Mirror and Frog Gun... Spice Marine. Just trying to think if there's anything else here that we haven't nattered on. Oh, Tides of Tomorrow is going to be brilliant. And Chornerus, you know, it's really fucking annoying that we have two similarly titled shows that are so close together and one of them won't budge. Okay. So yeah, I think that's enough of going through there. Again, it's okay to be fucking mad about how AAA is treating their people. It's okay to be fucking livid about homies losing their jobs in studios that have the stability and things like that. I try and make sure we level it out with the fact that the industry isn't dying. The industry's doing good. People want to play games. They want to buy games. You know? We're not talking about, like, cinematic saturation here. And I feel, even if only for my mental health, I need to keep banging this drum. Anyway. Before we got onto that whole... So, Childress, I did talk about Mecha Break, but I don't know if Mecha Break's actually going to be any good, or if it's going to be like an aggressive, free-to-play cacophony of, like, monetization wrapped in a robotic bundle. But I'm too in the paint. Like, I'm real sorry, friends. I cannot stay, what's the term? Clear-headed, because those mechanical designs are sweet. And it's like a condensed idea. It's like a condensed version of a concept I was pitching 1,000 years ago. Oh, numbers. I would never say objective, because I love video games. You know, I'm already heavily biased towards our art medium over others. But I'm sorry, film and television. I worked your hallowed halls for several years, and I hate you, and I hate the way that you do business. But I love some of your TV shows and movies. Games industry, I love you. I'm glad you haven't gotten rid of me. Please keep making games. Almost all games are brilliant. Very few are bad. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. But, take Judica, the important thing is knowing one's own biases and being aware of them. If you give me giant robot games, I'm probably going to love them. But I know this. So that means that when I'm talking to you lot, I'm not going to be like, hey, this is Will here, coming to you live from my fucking dingy office. We're live now with Mecha Break. Sign up for the fucking ball bag beta now. You know? There's none of that. I don't know. Sometimes when people go like that hard, it's false. Sometimes individuals have no idea they're unrestrained keen. So I try and do my best. Sorry, Fred says, very few games are bad. On that note, Will, when's the next Ichi Zone playthrough? Oh, when I'm allowed to bring somebody round, there's no way I can do Ichis by myself again. I will unravel. And not in, like, the funny, haha, Will screaming about Soho way, but in the, like, hey, do we need to fucking call somebody? Yeah. Well, and Sean, one of the things that makes me so happy is that there is a very, very good chance that through your work, you will be able to make, like, a decent living and then keep making games to your heart's content, you know? It is a fight at the beginning. It is a struggle. And, like, next time we can steal Zalavir for a proper sit-down banter, I'd love for him to talk to all of you lot about the challenges of running Strange Scaffold, because there's a few things he's told me, you know, off-air, that really highlight that it's not just sit and coast. Like, Strange Scaffold has been succeeding and continuing, but by golly, Salavir fights for it. No idea when that guy sleeps. As someone who also fails to sleep quite a lot. Ah, a Judica. That makes me feel real better. Yeah. Actually, so Beadora, we were talking about this last night. Beadora was saying how most of the real gamers in mobile phone game ads look nothing like it. So, at least, as it was explained to me, predominantly a lot of those mobile games are marketed to Chinese audiences. And apparently, and again, I don't know how true this is, it's very hard to get reliable like marketing data on how games are marketed in China, but apparently it's a real mark of quality if your mobile game ads has people internationally rather than people who are visibly Chinese nationals. Apparently that's like the marketing play. So what they do is they hire either expats or people that are on like working visa equivalents in China to do those ads. They're paid fuck all. They bang out like 50 of them in like a weekend. They're the equivalent of like drama students in China. Oh yeah, and Sean, I will say like the Xenoclash squad, they are a good example of, okay, not resting on your laurels, but their most recent title, Clash, definitely their most recent title definitely needed more love. Hang on. And unfortunately, there are multiple games on Steam called Clash. Oh, sorry, friends. If you haven't heard of it, so Xenoclash was a very, very early indie title, which was this weird, like, tribalistic first-person brawler. Nothing else like it. And it really stood out. It's one of those early, like, big indie success stories. Then they had Xenoclash 2. And they've had a bunch of other titles. I always forget Abyssal Odyssey was them. And I don't know the deal with Rock of Ages, if that was also them, or if that's, like, if they have a larger operation. Oh, and they did the point-and-click game, The Eternal Cylinder. But what I did notice is that last month they launched Clash Artifacts of Chaos, which is meant to be a continuation of Xenoclash 1 and 2. And it's not entirely fallen on deaf ears, but I think they were expecting their user base to be all over it, and it's kind of gone quiet. And yeah, Sean, yeah, Rock of Ages is definitely their biggest moneymaker. But I wasn't sure if that was wholly them or if that was like a co-development. So yeah. The reason I bring that up is just because in the same breath that, you know, working on cultivating a community rather than, you know, focusing on huge marketing pushes is definitely, in my humble opinion, the way to maintain sustainability. But in the same breath, you've got to tell people your fucking game's out, right? Clash Artifacts of Chaos completely skipped me by. And Sean, it's honestly just before I went for family stuff, it crossed my feed. Sorry, apologies for going 1,000-yard stare mode for a second. Okay, so Almus, actually, video games are fucking complicated, right? And the connective tissue between your games is very challenging. And I want to talk about Zenzillions. Hang on, let me just finish this thing. Woohoo! Just very quickly, if any of you have been considering getting into Sea of Thieves, it is currently half price on Steam. So, Alnus brought up one of my favourite games of recent, which is Wolfstride. Wolfstride is a narrative anime. It is an anime narrative game that features giant robot battles. The giant robot battles are like turn-based zoning. Like, it's all about the distance from your opponent and how hard you can hit them and with what move. Wolfstride is something that I absolutely adore. Every part. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to show you because I know there's a few of you that haven't seen it. And especially Angelos, if I haven't shown you this one, I need to. If I have, I'm so sorry I'm going to do this twice. Because Wolfstride does one fucking brilliant thing. And it's not that guy taking a shit. So, okay. Pausing. Scale through art style. Predominantly, the characters and the environments are done in this big, chunky pixel style. This is not zoomed in. Like, that is our main character there and his little dog mate who's a mech mechanic. And it's at that scale, right? Pixel art, super close up. But as it spools out... Yep, so, okay, now we have some environments. I need to see if it does the scaling. I need to show you that. Okay. That last one was more of a cutscene. There's our mech pilot, who's super adorable. Okay. Come on, show me the mech fight. There we go! Alright. The mech battles are all done in this gorgeous illustrated style. This is what I was talking about with like paper doll style animation. Jamami, I played the start of it on stream, and then fucking binged the rest of the game for like 30 hours. Yeah, Angelos, you get it! You get it! So, the pixel art gives us this sense of scale with the characters where we predominantly spend all our time. But to give us this huge weight to these massive mechs, they're all hand-drawn, which gives us this feeling of like zooming out. And God is it good. Oh, yeah, no, Jamami, there is an Exorcist minigame. That's another story. And I'm in love with this game, alright? I played through it in its entirety, and I mean all Chivos. All of the mini-fights, all of the extra stuff. I got them all. And I had the best fucking time doing it. Now, the thing about Wolfstride is it does that thing that's very, very cool with indie titles. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna... I'll just leave it hanging here. In that it brings you in on a dumb premise. You know, this is like anime mech pilot the game. Oh yeah, no, I spent 48 hours playing this. I got every achievement. It's Wolfstride. And by the end of it, the characters have had the chance to breathe, to really become more than the ridiculous archetypes you're presented with. You know, at the beginning, you're given this, like, let's see if there's a really good picture of him here. I'll have to find it somewhere else. Alright, we'll just go back to the trailer, because it's... I think there's some good stuff. Yeah, so this guy, he's a combination of, you know, the older brother from Gurren Lagann, Wolfwood, and Spike Spiegel. He's the cool guy with the backstory who makes it all happen. You know, at the beginning he's getting beat up by gangsters, but he could totally kick their ass, but he doesn't. But by the end of it, he is such an incredibly fleshed out character. It's like so well put together. The mech fights were good. The world was interesting and very funny, but by the time I got to the end of this, I was just in love with the world and the story. There's also some serious hints as to other things. And so when they announced they were going to be doing another game, I was like, fuck yeah! However, their follow-up game is Zetzillions. And, I mean, it looks gorgeous. If you like deck builders, I think this is something that you can carry through, but you play as the mysterious host character who was kind of in and around Wolfstride to imply this like ultra dark narrative that was like hiding beneath the surface. But it's a deck building game where you fly through space and you shoot planets. Now maybe there's more to it, like maybe if I go into this, but Wolfstride's strength was on its characterization, on its story, and this is so far from where I want to be with it. You know, this to me feels very similar to Phantasy Star and to Phantasy Star Episode 3. I don't want a card battler. I want to find out what happened to Red Ring Rico. I want to know what happened. So yeah, that's why I wanted to mention this one, because sometimes choosing your titles can be very important. Does every game need to be a sequel? Fuck no. But don't half and half it, is what I'm kind of saying with this one. So like, Pony Island Into the Hex has no relation to one another, till it does. The Hex into Inscription, no relation, till it does. But it is not pitched as, this is like the continuation of. It is not, like, Inscription doesn't start with the horse from Pony Island riding a planet with a cannon on it. How you choose your titles and how they fit together is very, very important. Jamami says, I added this in 2021. Why haven't I played this? Because I'm always going to be giving you more cool games. You don't come to my house if you want less games. You don't come in here if you want less interesting shit. Oh, wait, cool! Oh, Sean, that's really fucking cool. I've not met the guy that does... I've not met Danny Mullins. I've wanted to, and he's supposed to be really cool. A bunch of my friends know him. They're like, oh, you don't know Danny? Oh, he's right cool. No, I don't know him. Grumble, 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 grumble. Not that, not that the industry friends we have aren't fucking geniuses. I mean, shit, there's a few people who are chilling in chat right now who, if only you knew the power they wield in the games industry, the impact they've had. But that's another story. But no, the reason I critique Zetzillions is I think Zetzillions should have had no connection to Wolfstride at all. And maybe drop a few in there. You know what I mean? You want to add another Dan to your collection? There are a lot of Dans. There are a lot of Dans. Okie dokie Loki. So friendos, I need the loot. So I'm gonna nip to the bathroom. You've got me for at least another couple hours. So, I don't know. I hadn't planned on just talking for as long as we had after the Games Expo. But if you want to put some Gundams together with me or something. I don't think I'm going to work on my big Verkar today. But I might work on like the 7-Eleven Gundam or something like that. Angelos, if it was earlier and I could start drinking, I would definitely do a Cybermania venture. Okay, so friends, please don't go anywhere. We'll obviously keep talking about all of this, but I need to nip the loot. And yeah. I don't know. We can decide what we're going to build and what we're going to talk about. Yeah. And Jamami, thank you. You know. I'm stupid spoiled because, you know, what are we going to do? Build a mech? Talk about indie games? Oh no, my favourite things. The survivor bias is real. Step again! No! I gotta pee! I gotta poo! No bits! No bits are allowed. Sorry, hang on, let me move this away. Sorry. Stepagen, and all of you that put in, seriously, thank you. I hope you'll all forgive me for being, well, I've been a bit realsy when it comes to saying thank yous and stuff, and that really does come from the fact, as one of my industry friends put it, being able to do this in 2024 is like having the biggest round of survivor bias. It's not like, it's not imposter syndrome. It's really feeling like, ah, shit, all my friendos are really struggling right now, and yet here I am, hanging out with 60 of you fucking cool kids talking about video games. Okay. I'll be back in a sec.
Nothing to see here.
Stop that incessant clicking.
Cisette bits.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, our 4 reptilian heroes, have overcome the arch villain Shredder.
Secret train.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, our 4 reptilian heroes, have overcome the arch villain Shredder.
secret bits. Secret bit tunnel. Secret bit tunnel. Praise chair. Chair is near eternal. Respect the chair. Cultist non-honest.
Hello, hello. Oh shit! What is this? Sorry, I said that like I was talking to the
Big heel.
Okay, there's a Jarl battle going on. I didn't realise I was... Thank you. It's not a cult, Shitaru. It's not a cult. But all of you, thank you. Who do I need to... J-Post. Scarred in Alaska was on a spree. Congrats to some old guy in Hawaii. Let me have a look over here.
It's not a cult if you think the story is about you.
Well, it's... What you did there, Shitaru. I saw it. I saw it. I got it as soon as the Welsh guy said it out loud. I'm sorry, friends. I came back and I think I killed the hype train. Oh, no. Oh, well. You'll manage to sneak in a whole-ass level 3 train while I was away. Fucking yo! Thank you. Thank you. You don't want a chat stream. Anyway, no, seriously, all of you, that was a whole bunch of bits, a whole bunch of little subs. Thank you. Thank you. So, want to build a Gundam with me? You want to work on a Gundam? Let's do that. Let's do that. I'll be that good. Oh, hang on. For all that, I've just realised Fiona stole my desk lamp, so I just need to go get that very, very quickly. I gotta go get the lamp. I can't fucking see otherwise. So I guess technically you're getting more chair, but not because I intended it. Because yeah, so friends, you've got me for like another hour and a half or so. that sucks. Alright, well it looks... Sorry friends, it looks like building stream is out. Because I can't... maybe set something up. Can't really use my phone. Hang on, let me just go check one thing real quick. It might be SOL, friends. Okay. Yeah, sorry, friends. I think we're SOL on this one. Ooga. It's very, very hard to build Gundams when you can't see them. Shit. What are we gonna do? Oh, so Fred, so it's not you're watching the chair,
Behind
it's
every
you keeping the chair
successful
from getting
ruler's
bored.
chair.
Okay, I appreciate that. Forgive the doo-doo-doo. Basically, the little desk lamp I need for building Gundams has gone AWOL. I can't fucking find it anywhere. So I guess we're not building Gundams. I wish I had thought of more backup plans. But it does mean I can see you lot a lot more clearly now because I don't have this huge thing in the way. That puts a grip on that. Sorry, and what I should have said, all of you, was thank you for waiting. You know what, friends? Considering you've got me tomorrow as well, you know, I might take this as just a fucking sign from the gods. I might take this as a sign from the gods. Because it's been a good little afternoon. We've had a lot of good conversation, a lot of good banter. Yeah. You know what? Yesterday was 10 hours, and it was definitely a lot more than I was expecting. Today was supposed to be a lot more showcases, and I definitely crapped out. So, okay. Alright, so, friends, apologies for bringing things to a close. I think Grandfather Nurgle proves abreast. Well, if anything, Fred, my current lifestyle is definitely pushing me to be more Nurglian than before. But I am going to make myself a BLT, so that's going to be nice. Okay. But as I said, we've had a lot of really good banter. We've deconstructed Summer Games Fest really well. Yeah. Apology denied. Go get some sandwich and rest up. Yeah. Yeah, I apologise for losing momentum. You know me, I'm usually a lot better. Because you're right, there's a bunch of indie games we could have jumped into, and there's a bunch of stuff we could have done, and my body's just gone, no. And I have said I'm going out this evening, which I would cancel on, but there is a friendo this evening that I can't cancel on because they're going on a road trip. So, okay. Anyway, alright, so whilst we are bringing our adventures to a close, one, if any of you have wanted to start playing Sea of Thieves and been like, oh, I really like piracy, as I said, it is currently 50% off on Steam. I had a little look into Dark and Darker. While that currently is free on Steam, it's essentially like free till a certain point. So if you want to try Dark and Darker, if you want to see if like hardcore D&D dungeon delving is for you, you can without spending any money. I don't know if there's anything else massively going on. So what's happening tomorrow? Right. Might be a little hungover. But So tomorrow we have the Xbox showcase at 10 a.m. I've got like a 16-ounce Red Bull ready to go, which will be followed by the PC gaming show. Now, the Xbox showcase is usually heavily curated, very, very carefully crafted, and will probably be interesting. You know, it's the same deal they always do. The PC gaming show will either be great and brilliant or a fucking disaster, but either way it is never dull. And in this house, Day 9 and Frankie will always have a seat at the table. I actually saw Day 9 for like a hot second at GDC. Obviously he doesn't fucking remember me, but it's not the point. Yeah. So, the week is not over. Our time has not come to a conclusion. You will have me tomorrow, and then next week, not sure what next week's going to look like. But honestly, friends, we're only about 2 weeks away from the return to Memnol. So, for those of you that enjoy dice rolling or just the continued adventures of one Emberlyn Burns, that is the next big thing on the docket. And it looks like, I think we'll be doing the Gaytona 500 on the 29th. So that'll be the next big Marbles on Stream event. We won't be doing these monthly, and whilst we can potentially offer some sponsorships, we won't need to. You know, it's not like before where it was like, hey, Will's got to go to a funeral and won't be able to work for a week, so please send me money so we don't die. And Fred, I do think that will be like our stand for the national anthem moment. However, the Yaskar t-shirt is real, and I don't think that I can come up with anything funnier than that. Wait, you all saw this, right? Okay, then let me show you this before we bring our adventures to a close, because we don't have to rush away. Check this out. So I need you to understand, this is an official t-shirt from the official, verified NASCAR store. Look at this. That is a real shirt that you can buy from fucking NASCAR. Look, I'm not saying I'm pro-rainbow washing. I have complicated feelings about the commercialization of Pride, but that is going to annoy all the right people and makes me smile. Hot take, NASCAR is drag. Why do you think it's called drag racing? But to license it from RuPaul. I thought you'd all seen this one. This cracked me up earlier. So good. Actually, so Martin, I need to check it because I think the NYPD cars is from last year. I don't know if they're busting them out again, but I saw that doing the rounds. I was like, hang on, I saw that last year. So I need to have a check on that one, but yeah. Yeah, but there's nothing else to really be doing tonight, friends. I did notice that, I don't know if they're still sailing, but Ortrizzi has been sailing the high seas. So if any of you want to sneak in some piracy, we got you. You know? One of the things I do want to get better at is helping more people get into the games that we love. And like, for as long as Sea of Thieves is still a big part of our day-to-day, I really want to make sure that peeps can. I think you just forgot to exit the Discord last night. Okay. Well, hey, look. We have a Longshipian Discord for just such an event. So friends, like, make some new homies, play some new games. I know there was a few of you that wanted to do some craft-alongs. We have Creation Celebration and No Grey November for just such an occasion. I'm just, you know... I'm sorry that I'm the one that's flagging. Oh. What's up, baby boy? Hello. Baby Amos. Well, you're going to have to deal with my apologies anyway, because as I've said, I take all of your time very seriously, dear friends. And if I'm going to do that, well, that means that I gotta... I don't know. I didn't tell you about it. Sorry, that was a really bad way to end that sentence. Okay! Whatever you do with the rest of your evening, please have a good one. Alright? Play some games, have a good time, drink whatever suits your mood. I'm going to roll credits, and then I'm going to pass you over to... Hero to the People, Dan Jones. Because I did not get to hang out with him this week because real life is a lot. But, firstly, and I do mean this, friends, like, thank you for all the time and cash and love that you put into keeping our little corner of the internet going. Alright? Thank you for looking after me fiscally so I could go see my family and do my goodbyes and have something fucking wonderful to come back to. That's the important bit. And so to that end, I'd like to thank the following people. You squitching? Yeah, you squitching? Yeah. Baby boy. Yes, so to that end, to those of you that were celebrating the full complement of subsprees, which I think is 68 at the moment, or if House Carl decided that you were twitching a little bit too much, I'd like to thank Ishkar Jarek, Ludo History, Sean Clapper, Fangoriously, Mr. Dom Rocks, Lima Tilly, I got it right this time, can't wait to forget that, Chamami, Some Old Guy in Hawaii, David, and Frogmelon, heckin' thank you. To J-Post, Shitaru, Lyris Dragon, Scarden Alaska, Stepagen, Akira Zero, Martin, Some Numbers, Bacon Avenger, Occult Game Dev, that's Nick! Chamami and Kaolu, thank you for throwing bits in my dumb face. Again, bits and donations are literally what keeps our little corner afloat, so I'm fucking grateful for it all. And to the full complement of mods, being Caffeine, Lizzie T. Power, and Rhymes with Moose, that is a triforce of power. To all of you, I can thank you, alright? I can thank you. Right, I'm going to pass you over to DJ. Cheeky mother hubbards. And then I'm going to make a BLT and contemplate my life choices. I'm actually going to give a shot at making some daikon radish before I some daikon pickles before I head out tonight. Just gotta find a fucking jar. You switching? Hey, baby boy. Wait. Cheeky terror. Ah!
Hi.
Hello, hello. Vanderbeast, thank you. Thank you. Right! You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. So, we're going to hang out with Hero to the People, Dan Jones. Both. So yeah, friends, I'll see you tomorrow for Xbox and for PC Games Show. If I'm hungover and tired, please remember me as I was. And yeah, a happy day 2 surviving Summer Games Fest. This was definitely lackluster, but it wasn't without bangers. So, back in your. Yeah. How about them Gandams? Fuck, I don't know what to say. I'm terrible at ending stream. It's well documented. I don't want to leave. Oh, Shitaru. Hey, then the Yaldum is yours. It will hold until tomorrow. Hey, baby boy, leave it. Hey! Amos. No. Sorry, he's chewing his paws. He's like, I'm going to get his comb. But, from me and the baby boy, thank you all. I don't know what's going on with our sweet boy, but he's still with us at the moment, so... Yeah. To quote Hot Fuzz, Nobody tells me nothing. Alright, friends. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a lovely rest of your evening. Remember me as I was. And good night.